This is the #1 rated steak in the entire world, and we're gonna compare it to this ultra-rare Wagyu that costs $100 per bite, this futuristic steakhouse that turns meat into cotton candy and everything in between. And we're starting here in Turkey at Salt Bay's restaurant, Nusret Steakhouse. You ready?
Always.
Tell me about the grill.
This is iron. We use only charcoal.
This is gonna give incredible flavor to the meat.
This is the giant tomahawk, Turkish Wagyu. 4 weeks, dry age.
Look at the incredible red, vibrant color of this beef and the streaks of fat in there, that beautiful marbling.
Most important, you must hear this voice.
You want even contact across the whole tomahawk on the grill so it gets even char marks, but this is heavy, so it doesn't need you to press it. Obviously, we don't have any browning in the center there, but look at these lines. He flips it sideways for the crosshatch pattern when you get that kind of crisscross on a steak. In addition to the tomahawk, he's also got a beautiful Chateaubriand. This is a tenderloin, but it's the best part of the tenderloin. That's a good sound. Looking good, Salt Bay.
When you cook, must be more gentle. Salt.
Look at the contrast between the golden brown crust on the edge there and that beautiful red on the inside. Now he's laying it on its side to render some of the fat on the edges off. And look at this. I just noticed his chain is the exact same shape of the steak we're cooking right now. Okay, he's letting me go for a try here. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Push it down a little bit. Quickly get that very, very top part. Isn't this crazy? Me and Salt Bay used to have beef. Now we're cooking beef together. Look at the perfect pattern that he got on the tenderloin.
This is the art.
He's right. Cooking is a patient process sometimes. We've been standing here for maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Every minute is important. Salt Bay.
Every few seconds, he spins the steak just a little bit. And what that's doing is making sure that the whole steak gets even contact across the grill at all times. He's moved it around so much that it almost has a fully even crust. This is the longest I've ever seen a steak cooked on the grill. And it looks amazing.
Almost medium.
How do you know?
Last 29 years, I cook every day.
Looks like it's done. It's time for the presentation of the steak, the moment you've all been waiting for. Look at that. Cooked to perfection. The biggest bite of meat I've ever had. That's the color right there that you want in any steak. To see how much care he puts into cooking it and then to actually taste it right away after that. It's juicy. Look at that drip. It's flavorful, perfectly salted, unbelievable. I've always wanted to see him do this. This is so satisfying. Oh, listen to those crispy chicharrones in there. It's one of the best sounds I think I've heard from food. And if you think this looks good, just wait until you see some of the steakhouses coming later in this video. Listen. 3, 2, 1. Salt Bay! Oh my God, with the chicharron in there?
Salt Bay.
Can I ask you to just try my steak seasoning?
Okay.
This is my Osmo steak seasoning. It's available at Walmart, and in addition to the steak seasoning, I've got chicken, seafood, vegetable, and all-purpose flaky salt. Since you're the king of steak, I'd love to see if this is Salt Bay approved. I'm kind of nervous. He's keeping me in suspense here.
Gorgeous.
You like it?
Very fresh, tasty.
Salt Bay. One of the best bites of steak I've ever had. Our next stop is a Michelin-starred steakhouse called Cut, and here we're gonna try the rarest steak in the entire world, Japanese Kobe beef. It's so rare that each cow actually gets its own official birth certificate. Oh, and this is my friend Eric. He's gonna be eating with me.
How's it going, guys?
Why would you wear Crocs? I told you multiple times this was a fancy restaurant.
You can take the man out of the Crocs, but you can't take the Crocs out of the man, am I right?
I feel like I'll regret introducing you to the head chef, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
Nick, nice to see you.
How's it going?
How are you?
I am looking for the dollar menu.
Not here. This is what we're gonna be enjoying today. This is the real deal Kobe beef. All Kobe beef is Wagyu, but not all Wagyu is Kobe beef. So it has to meet a certain criteria to be eligible to sell it. You have to have this certification. It's about $100 an ounce. I've had people cry after they've taken a bite of this.
What are we about to experience?
You know a regular steak, right, Eric?
Yeah.
Well, if you jump a few levels above that, you get Wagyu. Very fancy Japanese beef. But then above that, there's this very small amount of absolutely perfect Wagyu that qualifies as Kobe beef. And this is considered the best steak on the planet.
It's like Big Mac, but 10% better or something like that.
No. What I love so much about Wagyu is every single cut is different, like a snowflake. One of the other things that makes it so expensive is you're trimming off so much of these different parts to get to the core of the Wagyu. This one little piece right here is about $25 worth of Kobe. Look at it compared to my head.
What are you gonna do with this?
The cool thing about Kobe beef, you can do whatever you want to it, and it's not gonna suck.
So are you thinking like chicken McNuggets? Dude, the whole space back here is hot. Like, it's not just this, it's like the entire kitchen is like scalding hot. It makes me angry back here.
I just want to do a quick challenge and see which one of you can hold your hand over the grill longer. Eric versus Chef. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm gonna have burns from
I
that.
can't feel anything.
Dude, what are you
I
talking
can't feel
about?
anything.
All right, let's cook. Where do we start?
This is a little bit of rendered Wagyu fat.
Wow.
So not to change the flavor of the beef at all.
See how he's seasoning from high up, guys? This is how you're supposed to season. Kobe goes on. The smell is insane.
Do you feel like a high level of responsibility cooking this meat?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you cannot mess up.
You're saying that to me like I would mess this up.
You absolutely would. What's so cool about how they cook this Kobe here at this restaurant is that they're getting the flavor and the grill marks from the charcoal and the wood over here, and then they're moving it over to a plancha to cook it the rest of the way through in a different way.
I like it a little past medium rare.
It looks so good.
You might shed a tear or two. This is gonna be the best steak you've ever had in your life. You guys are in for a treat. We're just gonna serve it simply with a little bit of salt.
The plating is awesome, super simple.
Let's do this. Cheers. I actually can't believe that. That's insane, dude. That was the best bite of food I've ever had in my life.
This might be crazy, but I want to try with my new seasoning. Our slogan is that Osmo makes everything better. This might be one rare exception where I don't think it's going to be the case.
That's insane, dude.
It's fun.
The only thing I feel like could make it better is some ketchup.
Let's go to the next steakhouse before I get mad. Our next restaurant is a Brazilian steakhouse called Max and Guga's Meatery. Since my friend Guga is Brazilian and Max cooks meat almost every single day, I asked them to open a one-day restaurant just for this video. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Heard so much about you.
This is quite possibly the most exclusive steakhouse in the world.
It is as exclusive as it gets. Max, fix it, please. Yeah, just slap it. What you were saying, sir? What were you saying?
Before we eat, could you take me around the kitchen?
Absolutely. So here we have a few skewers ready to go for you, sir. Picanha, skirt steak,
Pineapple, some beautiful Brazilian sausages. What is this?
filet mignon, and bacon.
We have the filet mignon and bacon, and of course, we have the Wagyu.
But not any Wagyu. These are the most exquisite Wagyus in the world because each single one of them is an experiment. Max, can you do it properly, please? Are you all right?
I'm good, I'm good.
Okay, good. But as I was saying, each one of these Wagyus are experiments from my videos and only for you. Max, you begin with this one, please. So a generous amount of salt in all of our skewers. Do you know what this cut is?
Picanha.
That is correct. Brazilians' #1 steak. Picanha, we only use salt and nothing else, but the other two, we're actually gonna use a little bit of black pepper, which is totally fine.
I'm still a chef in training at this Brazilian steakhouse, but somehow today you've left me with the best of the best, the Wagyu.
That is correct. Don't mess it up, Max. How do you like your steaks?
I actually prefer medium.
What?
I'm serious, I like medium.
Get out! We got our grill nice and hot. Let's put them in.
Why don't we start with the picanha? It's the biggest.
Yes, and the best. Picanha is in, followed by...
Beautiful flank steak.
That's correct.
Outside skirt steak.
That is correct, sir.
We have our bacon-wrapped filet mignon.
And the end?
Sausages.
Yes. Voila! Now close this up because we're not done yet.
It is time for our beautiful pineapple dessert. Giving our pineapple a really nice sear from both sides. Charcoal at the bottom, torch over the top. We're cooking from every angle.
Don't burn it, Max.
My bad.
Now that we got a little bit of char, we'll sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and sugar. And now we'll let it cook for a little bit longer, caramelizing everything, and it's gonna be amazing. No, what are you doing? We gotta caramelize it nice and slow. Good things comes with patience, Nick.
Guga!
Let's check in on our meat. Oh, okay, we're getting there.
Color is looking great on that skirt steak. All those juices just basting itself.
That man is in for a treat.
He is.
Let's cook you some Wagyu, sir. Straight from Japan, several different gradings. I just wanna ask one more time, how do you like your steaks?
Medium.
And the key is to get a nice, beautiful golden brown crust. That type of caramelization is the one I like. You go sit down, sir. You go enjoy it.
We're ready?
Yes.
We're ready.
Now we serve. Here we got some picanha, sir.
We have some beautiful flank steak.
Nice and medium, just the way you like it, sir.
Wow, that looks cooked really well. Oh my gosh.
Sorry about that.
You're gonna poke me in the eye.
I apologize.
The picanha is really good.
Max. Lower it here to the table.
So unprofessional.
There you go, and then put it down. Yeah.
Yes, chef.
You just upgraded, good job.
It's cooked plenty?
I'll double check for you.
No chance you guys are supposed to be eating. I will say, so far, very good. I quite literally believe that Guga and Max could make the best Brazilian steakhouse on the planet for one day. Probably not every day, but definitely for one day.
Sir, we got some slices of, apologize.
Wow, the nice thin slice right there.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
I think you could use one more slice.
You almost just poked my eye.
All
Max,
nice.
put it
Insane.
down.
This is
You have to
actually
put-
so dangerous.
I apologize.
The marinade on this is fantastic.
Very good, huh?
This is the biggest plate of meat I've ever had at a Brazilian steakhouse. They actually did an incredible job.
All right, I need you to try this one. It's a picanha, Wagyu A5, some of the greatest picanha this side of the Mississippi.
Wow. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Good job, chef. And here we have the specialty, sir. Just a few pieces of Wagyu for you.
Something is off. That's disgusting.
We dry aged in durian. We like to experiment here, sir.
It's like petrol. It's horrible.
And of course, we have dessert, sir. This is caramelized pineapple. Dig in.
That is exceptionally good. Max and Goog is meatery. You wish you could eat here, but you can't because you guys are permanently closed right now.
At least we made it one day, Max.
Our next restaurant is Peter Luger Steakhouse, the #1 rated steakhouse in New York City that's world famous for its dry-aged beef that's served on a hot, sizzling plate of butter. I've also brought along my friend Matt Stoney to help me eat. If you haven't seen him before, he is one of the best competitive eaters in the world. First, we're gonna check out their dry-age vault. This room we're entering right now is filled with over $1 million worth of dry-aged beef. And to remind anybody who doesn't understand, the entire point of dry aging like this is to develop lots and lots of flavor in beef. It smells like a weird cheese.
I've never smelled a smell like that before.
As we walk down this room, the meat is gonna get harder and harder because it's been aging longer. The meat just goes on forever. They just have tons and tons of meat hallways in here. Peek over the top. It's like the coolest view I've had in here.
I'm not that tall.
You want me to lift you up?
Sure.
Oh, it's beautiful. Some of these actually feel like a rock. I think I've torn my knuckle a little bit by just knocking that. I can push this as hard as I can with my hands and fingers. Nothing. Now the hardest part, picking the meat that we're gonna eat.
Dude, I eat hot dogs. I have no idea what I'm looking for here.
Ooh, look at these guys. That one is huge. Matt, I think I found our meat. Frank is a master butcher. He's gonna help us break this thing down. And he's gonna start by trimming off that outer bark since we can't eat that part. And then that right there is the first full steak being cut. Of all the pieces we just got, this is the biggest, nicest one. This is a porterhouse. But there's just one more quick step before cooking, which is to trim off some of that excess fat. Here's a good before and after look of trimming off that fat. Matt, be honest, in one sitting, how many of these do you think you could realistically eat?
That stack looks doable right there.
What? All right, time to cook this bad boy. They have these crazy ovens here. It's basically like a giant broiler. These are 1,000 degrees Celsius.
1,000?
And as you can see, they put a lot of very fine salt on the top of the steaks. The reason there's so much salt is it's only going on that top side. And then later, when they add the butter, it's gonna melt down with all that salt and create almost a sauce.
I've never seen steaks cook like this before. Like the flame is right there above it. It's oddly calm.
Oh, it's on fire. It's like making a s'more. Looks like it's time for a flip.
Oh, nice.
Oh, baby, there we go.
Look at those bubbles on there. All of that really fine salt has dissolved across the steak. When it's almost done cooking, they're gonna slice the steak. And as a reminder, this is a porterhouse, so you get both that New York strip and the tenderloin here. But the very final step is to cook it a second time in some butter to give it some extra last-second flavor, and that way they can send the finished plate out to the dining room when it's still hot and sizzling. Matt, you wanna share or you want your own?
Is that a question?
This looks amazing. I think there's something about watching it be cooked that makes me hungrier.
It's like waiting in line at Disneyland or something, you know? It's like you see all the action, you get really excited.
I'm gonna go for a piece of the tenderloin first. I'm going for a little butter dip as well. Dude, the butter's insane.
That butter really good.
I can taste the dry aged flavor.
And the crust is crazy. I don't think I've ever had a steak like this before. Usually there's some sort of flavor. This is like the most pure salt, butter.
Well, that's the thing. The coolest part about the steakhouse to me is that the flavoring is all done in that dry age room downstairs. They don't need seasoning, but maybe they don't know about Osmo. We're moving on to Born and Bred, the 15th best steakhouse in the world known for its Hanu beef, Korea's ultra-rare version of Wagyu that never leaves the country, which means I had to fly all the way here just to try it. And I've also brought along my friend Doobie to eat with me.
안녕.
Ready?
I'm ready.
They're letting us first take a quick peek in their butchery where they prepare all the beef for this experience.
What differentiates Hanu versus other types of butchery is that the cuts are much more specified to really make sure you get that really nice texture and flavor all in one.
What they're doing here with this beef is mostly letting the lines of fat guide where they cut so that they are not cutting through the actual meat. But what's really crazy to me about all this is that I'd never heard of Hanu before we started working on this video. It's such a well-kept secret in Korea, and that must be for good reason. This is amazing.
Wow, so fancy.
No, I didn't know it would be this fancy. The first dish we'll get to try is this steak tartare made from Hanu top round. What a bite.
Wow.
I'm really excited for this second one. It uses the Hanu beef rump, and they're combining it with strawberry. I've never seen anything like this before. There's also some honey-infused vanilla oil going on top, as well as a little mint leaf there. Oh my gosh, it tastes like a dessert.
Wow.
First thing that came to my mind before I tasted the beef was strawberry shortcake.
You're onto something.
Next, we get to try this Hanu tenderloin topped with a bit of truffle. I really love the simplicity of this dish.
Meat and truffle, how could it go wrong? That's a juicy fella.
It tastes so pure, but the flavor is not very overpowering in a nice way. It's unlike any piece of beef that I've ever tried before. Before our next bite, it looks like we're getting a palate cleanser. Some mango with a little bit of black lime zest. Oh, Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start eating my mangoes with lime zest every time. This next course is really creative. It's a Hanu top blade that's cooked using both charcoal and snow. Why are you resting the meat on the snow?
This is what our ancestors used to do. Put on the charcoal and cool the meat down. Put on the charcoal, do this job.
Back and forth?
Yes.
That's so cool.
So it's like rapid resting. I'm curious to see if this worked.
It's one of the best bites I've ever gotten.
I'm not totally sure what this next course is, but it's being very carefully grilled in some traditional Korean paper. And they're also constantly spraying it with water to keep it moist. He's untying it now, almost sort of like a Christmas present. Whoa, is it a perfect mix of beef and fish? I think it is.
What's being smeared on top is a doenjang sauce. Doenjang is a Korean traditional bean paste that's been fermented for longer.
And now he's using a torch to caramelize the sugars to really boost that flavor. It tastes like a hamburger patty with miso black cod.
Nobu meets McDonald's.
Getting close to the end of the meal now, we've got some hot pot using Hanu top sirloin. I love how they're using every cut of beef in a completely different way. It tastes like a fresh garden.
For me, it's the textural component of the vegetables. It's almost like noodles.
The fresh wasabi and the fat together are really good. The final dish is a Hanu bulgogi, the national dish of Korean royalty. This right here is the dish I flew all the way to Korea for. This is making my mouth water. He's plating this with the beef drippings and the broth. What is this?
It's a pansang, the Korean classic table fare.
This is the highlight.
Where do we start?
I think I'm gonna go for a leafy green. We put our beautifully seared kalbi on top. We do a little bit of the marinated raw crab, a little bit of rice. You wrap it up.
Boom, here we go. There's so many flavors here, but what's so much fun is that you can build each little wrap each time however you want.
This feels like a friend who, after summer break, just got a total transformation. It's like, girl, who is she?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Our next stop is Cote, a Michelin-starred Korean barbecue restaurant that's the #1 ranked steakhouse in America. I don't have a guest for this one, so I'm sending one lucky subscriber here for dinner instead. But don't worry, there are plenty more guests joining us later in this video. Here comes the chef. He's gonna start by oiling up the grill with some beef fat trimmings. This first guy here is hanger steak. Ooh, and we're already cooking. Of all the restaurants out there, Korean barbecue is one of my favorite because you see the food from start to finish. Rotating it around a little bit.
Yes, because it has different hot spots.
Look at that. My first bite of beef here. The hanger is the most underrated cut of steak.
That's my favorite cut, actually.
Me too. Boom. I love how many sides there are, by the way. The sides here are actually part of the reason this is the only Michelin-starred Korean barbecue restaurant in the United States. I'm gonna use them to make a nice lettuce wrap. Don't take me a bit. This next steak here is a 45-day dry-aged ribeye. You'll notice that the chef is cooking all the meat for us, and that's because the quality of beef they use here is so incredibly high that they don't want you to mess it up. But I'm not sure how I feel about that since I actually like cooking my own stuff at Korean barbecue. That one is amazing. The flavor combined with the fact that it's fresh, hot off the grill, I would say for me that's a clear top 10 steak bite ever. I'm also gonna try this with a shiso leaf, which sort of tastes like a mix between mint, basil, and licorice. I don't know how to describe it, but I really like it. Looks like next we've got an 120-day dry-aged ribeye. This will be the longest aged beef that we try in this entire video. This is very rare to find in any steakhouse.
Doesn't it taste like blue cheese?
It tastes a lot like blue cheese. It's weird. The more you chew it, the more it tastes like blue cheese. If you like blue cheese, then you might like 120-day dry-aged beef. If not, I don't think you'd like it. Finally, we have the Kobe beef. Here we go. That one's my favorite. Perfect overall balance across the entire bite from start to finish. Before our final bite of Korean barbecue, he's gonna change out the grill here since the final steak has such a different flavor profile. They are not messing around. This one's called the dessert steak. It's a short rib that's been marinated in soy sauce, brown sugar, and pear juice to make it sweet and tender. It's like almost as if a piece of cooked beef were very lightly candied. I didn't know how I'd feel about this one, but that is exceptionally good. Let's go eat some more steak. Up next is Maison Kasai, a fancy hibachi restaurant run by a Michelin-starred chef. I also brought along a couple friends to help me eat. We've got Patrick and Albert. I didn't tell you this yet, but the experience has already started. We are in a room that somewhere has a secret door that leads to the restaurant.
All right, let's get looking.
Nope, that's not it. Oh, Albert, you found it.
Oh, no way.
Welcome, guys, welcome.
All right.
All right, here we go. Okay. Who wants to try? Get loose.
Oh, no, I don't like this. I don't like this.
All right, here we go. We're just gonna stack this egg.
What?
Oh.
Leaning tower of eggs.
All right, we're gonna light it up. Oh!
Oh!
We're gonna start off with some eggs.
What?
We're just gonna play with our food.
It's like art.
For the vegetables, for the rice.
Is that day-old rice, chef?
Week old.
A week old.
All right, there we go.
So hard.
Oh, I love you guys.
Oh, is that the Oslo
Damn.
seasoning?
Yeah, we got our furikake with sesame seeds.
I love furikake.
We have the veggies here.
Some shiitake mushrooms, some rosemary. Wow, I love that. That right there is one of the small but important details that separates the good from the great.
Beef talo.
Another thing that separates the good from the great.
Start off with our ribeye.
Beautiful ribeye.
I mean, at a regular teppanyaki place, they're not wrapping the meat like this with like rosemary and thyme. So this is just next level.
Okay, there we go. Careful.
Oh!
This one's dangerous. Do not try this at home. Grab this.
Oh, what? Oh!
That was crazy.
What is this guy? Oh, he got a little bit.
Here we go. Let's add more meat. We have the Kobe, imported from Japan.
The most expensive cut of meat, huh?
Yes.
Filet mignon, a little more Osmo on there. Love it.
Beef talo. Add our lobster.
Unbelievable. That's an incredible looking lobster tail.
Oh.
Another one.
Oh. Yeah.
We're just gonna light the lobster.
Poor guy did nothing.
Little train.
You know, when I was a kid, that would be my favorite part. It's still my favorite part.
There it is.
Wow.
Whoa.
Just,
That is so good.
that is really incredible.
I don't know what's happening in my mouth, but there's a lot of things happening, and I thank you for it. It's like buttery, beautifully cooked.
All right, here we go. There's just the truffle shavings on the Kobe.
Bon appetit, baby. Dang, look
God.
at that.
It's like a garden with steak. That is so good.
All right, yeah. So there we go. We're just gonna light it up.
No
There you
way.
go. Thank you.
Chef, can I do a flip with that?
Yeah, here you go.
No,
100%.
Let's head to our next restaurant.
No, watch.
Up next is Gordon Ramsay's Steak, where we'll be trying Gordon's iconic beef Wellington. And Gordon himself actually sent along a little video to tell me exactly what to order.
Hey Nick, it's Gordon. Now I hear you're on the lookout for the world's best steakhouses. Go to Gordon Ramsay Steak. I promise you, you'll love it. Maybe try the beef Wellington and then move away from steak and try that incredible seafood platter. Enjoy!
I've also brought along my friend Q to help me eat.
What's up, guys?
First course incoming.
We have our hamachi crudo here. We also have our prime beef sliders, prime beef tartare.
Where do we begin?
I'm gonna try a little steak tartare. That is up there with the top 2 or 3 steak tartares I think I've ever had.
This is on my top 3. I don't even know the other 2.
Another slider.
So far, very, very enjoyable, all of it.
When some people think of steak, they think of surf and turf. So before the turf, the beef Wellington, I wanted to try a little bit of surf.
We're gonna set you up for your next course here.
What?
We have our iced shellfish platter.
It's like a wedding
There
cake.
you go.
This is a mega seafood platter. It's got oysters, it's got clams, it's got shrimp, it's got lobster, it's got king crab.
Best part, I know you love mini things. We got the mini Tabascos.
Can you blame us for wanting to try this thing? I'm gonna start over in king crab land. They made it really easy to just slide it right out.
Wow.
I'm gonna do a little lesson for everybody on oyster etiquette. Give it a little bit of lemon, a touch of cocktail sauce, then slurp, chew it, enjoy it. You take that oyster shell and you flip it upside down.
Which indicates that it's empty.
I'm gonna grab a shrimp now. Everything's delicious. I don't know how you can't love this. You ready for the main event? This is it, Gordon's classic beef Wellington. It comes with a pomme puree. That's a fancy way of saying potato puree, as well as a few different vegetables, a little beef glaze, and of course, the actual Wellington. Perfection. You'd think it'd be hard to cut because it's beef, but it is like butter.
You gotta make sure you get that puree.
Oh man, it's iconic, it's delicious.
So soft.
It's got so many different textures. The crispy puff pastry on the outside and the creamy mushroom puree that's right inside that. And then the beef, of course, is a nice, beautiful, chewy texture. As it all comes together, it's the perfect bite. This is probably my 10th time having one of Gordon's beef Wellingtons, and it is perfect every time.
Every single time.
Let's go to the next restaurant. We are now in Paris, France to try steak frites, and I'm here with my friend Charles, who's gonna say the name of the restaurant since I don't know how.
L'atelier entrecôte et volaille.
This is the #1 restaurant in Paris for steak frites, but what really sets it apart is their secret sauce that people fly from all over the world just to try.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Oh, very French, your bonjour. This is a typical French bistro. Look at the wood, the mirror, and look also how the tables are really close together. When you eat, you are really close to stranger. But that's French.
This is Antoine. He's the executive chef, and he's gonna take us through how they make their steak frites. He starts off simple by tenderizing the meat just lightly, and then adds a little sprinkle of salt.
Listen, they put the meat on the grill for 1 minute. Then he turned the meat 90 degrees.
He's getting that nice checkerboard pattern on the beef. Now he takes the meat once it's finished cooking and brings it up to rest.
While the steak is taking a nap, we're gonna see the fries. This is the secret. The fries are pre-cooked. And with this technique, you have extra crispy fries outside and a puree inside.
Into the hot oil we go. Again, the fries are already pre-cooked. We just need to basically crisp the outside now. And he's gonna give them a little shake to make sure they don't stick together. What a great sound. Fun fact, French fries were not actually invented in France. You knew that.
Yeah, but I don't remember the country.
The last thing to do is toss those fries in some salt, preferably Osmo. Oh, listen to the crunch. You wouldn't think they could taste so different from how they taste in the United States. They taste so different. What makes this restaurant and their steak frites so special is this sauce right here. This took them years to perfect. How many people know this recipe?
Only 2 people.
And he's one of them.
Do you have it?
The plating here is simple and traditional like any other French bistro. This keeps the focus entirely on the food and its flavor. A beautiful French bistro just for the 2 of us. Merci.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Very classic French presentation.
Fries in the sauce. Oh. Oh, the sauce is so complex. Huh? The first thing that comes to my mind with the sauce is sort of like a creamy French pesto.
I know what you mean.
I think I taste tarragon, too.
Yeah.
If you look up close at the sauce, you can see how many different specks of color and ingredients there are in there.
Do you know you have more than 20 ingredients in the sauce?
How do you know that? It's a secret. I'm gonna jump to the meat. Really, really simple. Lightly tenderized, but it's already been aged just a little bit. The sauce tastes different based on what you eat it with.
I just take the perfect bite. Steak, fries, and sauce.
That's the best bite.
It's like a good song.
What song would it sound like?
Good like black.
I was initially almost a little bit skeptical about whether the sauce would be really that good, and it is that good.
So maybe you that watch the video, you say, just steak and fries. But steak and fries, perfectly cooked with the sauce, it's an amazing experience.
My first ever meal in France, definitely a good one.
Et maintenant, tu vas manger une autre viande.
I have no idea what you're saying. Our final steakhouse is Bizarre Meat, which blends Argentinian-style open flame cooking with Spanish creativity to serve up some of the most futuristic steak dishes you'll ever see. I've also invited my friend Joe to eat with me.
What up?
He's a world-famous music artist, and he's got a concert in about an hour, so we gotta go. This is one of the craziest kitchens I've ever seen.
This is our grill setup, burns really, really hot. This basically is our main pass.
The main pass in a restaurant is the control center. The food comes through here for you to see it before it goes out.
Wow.
I love how everything's wood-fired. You know before tasting anything that the flavor is gonna be
on point. Yeah. One last thing before you start eating, guys, I need you to pick your steak. We have Washugu, Rosewood, Akaushi, Stemple Creek.
Joe's my guest. I'm gonna let him pick.
That one.
Perfect. The first dish is a foie gras cotton candy. This looks crazy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's interesting.
You have that pillowy, melt-in-your-mouth texture of cotton candy. Then you have the corn nuts, which are crunchy. And then they have the soft and creamy foie gras.
Kind of tastes like cereal.
Like a foie gras-flavored corn flake.
Yeah, kind of. Course number 2, Japanese A5 Wagyu air bread.
I don't know if any of you ever watched the Netflix series Chef's Table, but this is the featured dish from that restaurant on that series, and it looks unbelievable.
Oh. That's crazy.
There's this very light, super flavor-packed cheese foam on the inside, and then the rest is just hollow. That's gonna be hard to beat. This one's called Neptune's Pillow. These are quite literally perfect pillows. You'll notice that it's tuna and not steak. Still think it's gonna be delicious.
Oh, that's a 10 out of 10 crunch.
That one went right off the charts.
Dish number 4, classic steak tartare.
It comes beautifully presented like this. With a little movie magic, poof, the beef tartare is all mixed together. You first, please.
A little tartare sandwich.
Who made a nicer sandwich, me or Joe?
Cheers.
It tastes like a really, really good soft hamburger.
Very expensive slider.
Course number 5, bison carpaccio. This one looks insane.
Whoa, there's so much going on.
You get hit with a little spice, you get a little bit of kind of blue cheese, you taste the celery, and the meat is so incredibly thin that it just kind of melts in your mouth. What's happening?
We're going to Japan right now.
Oh.
We have omi beef, we have satsuma, and we have bushugu. Bushugu basically translates to beef of the samurai. So this farm used to feed the samurai back in the day.
Today we are samurai.
We're gonna go ahead and cook a couple of table sides.
Listen to that sound. Going for a flip? Nice. These only sear for literally just a couple seconds on each side. This type of beef is so incredibly delicate, so you cannot overcook it.
We're diving in.
That is the definition of melt in your mouth. There's so much fat between the actual meat in each of these bites that it makes it break apart really easily as you chew.
I feel like I'm back in Japan.
Our final course, course number 7, is an akaushi ribeye, which I'm gonna top with a little bit of truffle.
Make it rain.
Honestly, I like eating steak with my hands.
You like eating steak with your hands?
Yeah.
Then I'll try the same thing. incredible.
The truffle too.
For me, it's the exact level of dry aged flavor that I want. Not so much that I can't taste the actual flavor of the beef anymore, but not too little where it's just not there. Are you late for your show?
One more bite.
In front of me is all the meat from an entire Wagyu cow. And next to me is Rami, a 10-time sumo national champion. I've broken down this Wagyu cow into 10 different sections, each of which will be turned into a different dish for Rami to eat. Rami has taken down lots of 500-pound sumo wrestlers, but today he'll face his biggest challenge ever. You think you can eat your way through an entire Wagyu cow? No. I know I can. To successfully defeat this cow, Rami must finish all 10 courses. And first up, I'll be making sushi using a strip loin. Right away, you can see this is a perfect cut of meat for sushi. I'll take about a 1-inch cut off the edge of this meat, and despite it being Wagyu, it is so thick that it's actually pretty difficult to cut through. Then, before making the actual sushi, I'll trim off all of the edges, making sure to leave as much of the meat as possible. But don't worry, we're saving this fat to make some donuts for dessert. Once I've trimmed it down to this blanc, I'll cut it through the center just once more, and then it's time to switch out my knife and to cut nice thin slices for my sashimi. Once I got my slices, it's time to make my sushi. First, I'll take my strip loin and lay it in my hand, pressing it down just a bit in the center, almost sort of gently melting the fat down in the center of my piece. Then I'll grab my sushi rice and lightly roll it around in my hand, making sure not to press it down too hard. This goes into the center of the beef where I then shape it, flip it over, and our nigiri is done. Rami, you ready? Oh yeah. Course number 1 is your Wagyu sushi. I just want to make sure that you know that all the meat that you're having today is Wagyu beef, A5 Kobe, and we have the entire cow. First bite.
So good. I'll cry now.
You're gonna cry?
I'm really happy, so I feel like I'm gonna cry.
This part might feel easy, but we have an entire Wagyu cow, and you're only on level 1 out of 10. Are you gonna make it that far?
Take your time.
Want me to take some of it?
Next! Level 1. This is no challenge.
For our second course, we're going to be making a Wagyu macaron with this sirloin butt. To begin, I've finely chopped up this sirloin butt into these small Wagyu medallions. These are the very delicate macaron shells. And to assemble, I'll add some foie gras to the bottom of our shell. Next, I'll top it with these sweet and creamy buttery apples. Then the sirloin butt with just a bit of steak sauce. And then last, we'll top it off with my personal favorite, some Japanese sea urchin, also known as uni. And just as if we're assembling a burger, we can't forget the top bun. Rami's not the only one that gets to eat today.
Yo, Nick, let's eating more cookie.
Your second course and the second section of the cow, these Wagyu macarons.
It's sweet and have multiple flavor.
You got every little possible delicious bite.
Oh, you put magic inside. Can you see? Yeah, like that. It's rolling.
Course number 3 is a Wagyu donburi using the chuck roll. Because you get a nice bang for your buck, this actually happens to be one of my favorite cuts of meat. After thinly slicing the chuck roll on a meat slicer, I'm gonna make a few cuts because we're gonna cook it in this flavorful broth. This sauce right here is actually Linja's favorite sauce. It's a combination of mirin, sake, soy sauce, and sugar. In just a few seconds, it's already done, and I'm gonna lay it over the top of my rice to start crafting the donburi. Once I've pressed all of this down, I'll leave a nice hole in the middle, and there, I'm gonna crack in my poached egg. To finish, I'll sprinkle around the edges with a bit of green onion, and then the final touch is this incredible crispy garlic.
I'm hungry. He's late, yeah? Nick!
Yeah. Wagyu donburi.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
This is really huge bite.
This is a sumo-sized bite, Rami. Oh.
You keep surprising me.
Have you had donburi before?
This is first time I've ever having donburi.
And you like it? So it's not gonna be the last. Rami, next time moving on to section number 4 of the cow. You're almost at the halfway point.
What time the challenge is gonna begin? Make it quick! I get hungry!
Dish number 4, using our 4th section of the cow, is going to be this Wagyu carpaccio using a tenderloin. Normally I don't love tenderloin since it's not all that exciting, but with Wagyu, when it gets marbled like this, it's delicious. Once this is thinly shaved using a meat slicer, I'll carefully lay it down in the center of my plate. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves because given it's so thin, it's going to melt if I don't. I'll top this off with a nice sprinkle of salt, some fresh cracked pepper, some nice fresh cut kiwi, not just for the flavor, but actually also for the color, some honey lemon lemon cherry tomatoes, where the skin has actually been completely removed so you get a nice soft bite. Some of this beautiful passion fruit jelly, which again gives us a nice pop of that yellow color, but also this incredible acidic and sour flavor. Then a light sprinkle of shiso leaf, which is sort of similar to Japanese basil, but I happen to like it a lot better. Then I'll finish it off with just a nice drizzle of olive oil. Course number 4, Wagyu Carpaccio.
This is really a piece of art, so I'm sorry for what you're gonna see now. I'm making Wagyu fruit roll-up.
A Wagyu fruit roll-up. With the Wagyu that I just carefully sliced into perfect thin layers, you've turned it into this.
It's really beautiful. Oh my god. And after that, what we do?
I don't even want to wait.
Listen. It's fire.
You didn't even chew it. You just squeeze it.
Where is the real challenge? Make it quick.
We are 50% of the way through this cow, and Rami is 50% of the way to victory. For this course, we'll be doing something exciting, a Wagyu hot stone using this tri-tip. I have set this oven to 500 degrees, and in just a bit, this is gonna be ready for Rami to cook. To begin, I'll slice straight through the center of the tri-tip, which looks incredible on the inside. Then I'll slice off a steak, and we're left with this. I'll trim off all of the edges, removing all that fat and saving even more for our Wagyu fried donuts at the end. This course, Rami is cooking by himself, so I'm simply gonna cut off some nice cubes like this, and we'll let Rami do the rest of the work on his own. So once I've cut it into nice pieces like this, it's ready to go. Rami, be careful, don't move. This is a 550 degree hot stone. Feel the heat from above. Be careful.
This is what I talk about.
And Rami,
Yeah.
here's the meat. Beautiful tri-tip. Go ahead. Do you hear? Mr. Rami, tell me, I heard you have a fun fact about your last name.
My last name is here, El Gazar.
El Gazar, what does that mean?
Yes.
The beast.
It's meaning butcher.
Your last name means butcher?
Yeah.
And you're eating a whole cow?
Yeah.
You've made it through 50% of the cow so far. You still have half of the cow to go. I can't wait for the end when you just can't eat anymore.
Can we stop talking and begin cook?
Wow, okay. We've officially started the second half of Rami's Wagyu challenge, and we'll be using this ribeye to make shabu shabu, which is also known as Japanese hot pot. To begin, we need to carefully slice our meat, and the way we do that is when it's still slightly frozen. What's amazing is how you still see that perfect cross-section of the ribeye with every slice that we get here. Once I finish slicing, I'll wrap it all up and place it in here for this nice presentation for Rami. This is when the challenge really begins. Rami! Course number 6. This is a beautiful shabu shabu broth. It's got a little bit of shiitake mushrooms, a little kombu.
Where is the food?
You asked for a challenge. I brought you a challenge.
Okay, I'm ready. It's same like chankunabi, you know, the sumo.
Yeah.
It's almost like that.
While we wait for the broth to heat up, you've been in all sorts of movies and TV shows and things like that already, right? Commercials.
I did 7 seasons from Spanish TV show named Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento, Hola Familia. It's el grande, el famoso, el osito.
You speak Spanish?
Poquito español. We did 200 or more live show for sumo, and we work in some films now. And chef too, so I'm gonna make food now.
The water's boiling, so it's time. I have a trick to show you. So here's what I do, Rami. I take my Wagyu, I go like this. Ooh, pretty cool, right? And then I just put it in and I just sort of, you know.
Didn't work at all.
Eat the shabu shabu.
Okay, now we will begin with the beef. Put it like that. Not by his technique. To make food is really, really easy. Just enjoy it. I love all green vegetables. It's healthy. I've been asking Nick all day for food, and finally he bring some food. So I think the challenge begin now. I don't want to tell Nick, but right now I feel about 30% full. I hope he didn't hear me. Keep it secret. Alright. You know what? Nick can cook. So good. Oh. Done! Next!
For section number 7 of the cow, I'm using a picanha to make a Wagyu tataki. To begin, we'll need to trim down our picanha. Once I cut out a nice thick steak, I'll carefully remove all the fat on the edges, again, saving it to fry those donuts, and then it's time to sear. We're looking to cook through just lightly on all of the outsides, keeping the center nice and raw, just as you do for a tuna tataki. For a bit of extra flavor, I also want a torch. When slicing into this, if we've done it properly, it should be nice and pink on the inside. To plate, I'll layer down my tataki using odd numbers like I always do, and then we'll finish with a sauce made with cream cheese, maple syrup, and apricot, and I'll top it off with some nice fresh mint. Number 7. Wagyu tataki, one of my personal favorites.
Let's see.
I feel like there's no way that you're not getting a little bit full yet.
Never.
Really?
I want to beat the cow and the mint is really good in this one.
Right now, even though you're pretending like you're not, I feel like you're in one of the toughest battles of your life with all this Wagyu cow. Can you tell me about the craziest sumo fight you ever had?
2015, I fight with Biambat. He was really strong sumo wrestler.
Did he win?
No, I beat him.
We'll see if you can take down course number 8.
I will. Get rid of stuff.
Course number 8, a giant brisket, served somewhat Texas style. With this brisket, I'm gonna go the classic route and smoke it. But first, I wanna show you that beautiful marbling on the inside of a Wagyu brisket, because this isn't something you see every day. I fast forwarded through the part of us smoking this, and Rami doesn't really wanna wait any longer. But similar to our tataki, I'm gonna get nice thin slices of our brisket. Wagyu brisket is a bit different, so we're not cutting it as large as we would a classic brisket, but the presentation ends up looking the same. Rami, how you feeling?
Feeling good.
Are you full? Be honest with me.
Not yet.
But you're getting there?
Not yet.
Wagyu brisket. Served somewhat of a Japanese Texas fusion style. We've got the brisket, of course. Then we've got some Japanese milk bread, a potato salad, all the classic sides.
Fight!
While you're finishing this one, I heard you like to cook. What are your 3 favorite things to cook?
Number 1, beef. Number 2, Egyptian food. Number 3, seafood.
Ah, I like those choices. I'll let you finish.
Can you help? Help me, it's just some beef. I think I'm gonna lose today. But I'll keep going. Just for you guys. Nick!
Nice job. Oh, what about the pickle?
Okay.
For our last savory course, we're using the final 2 cuts of Wagyu beef. The first one being short rib, and the second being skirt steak. Once we've ground up equal parts of both of those cuts, I'll shape it into a nice patty, and I must note that Wagyu burgers are the hardest burgers in the world to make, given how fatty it is. And because of all that fat, we don't need to oil the pan. If Rami somehow makes it through our burger course here, I don't know how he'll possibly finish that Wagyu donut. Once I've got a nice crust on that bottom side, it's time to carefully scrape and then give it a nice flip. I've lightly toasted off some sesame buns. Once it's nice and crispy all around, I'll place down my patty, and to finish, I'll place on my tomato in nice little heart shape for Rami since I love him. And I'll finish with just a little bit of lettuce for the color and the crunch. Done.
I heard Nick made burger, so I hope it's small one. I almost stuffed.
Rami! Course number 9. Ooh. Is this big giant Wagyu burger. It's very delicate because it's pure Wagyu, and you're not supposed to make a burger like this, but I did it anyway for you.
This is really huge.
Is this the point where the cow beats Rami?
Never. Wow. Do you see what is going on here?
The juice. Ugh. I need to go make dessert because for course number 10, I need to fry off some donuts. And I don't want to make you wait.
To be honest, I'm 95% full. Actually, 100% stuffed. But I need to keep going. Wish me luck. Number 9 done. Where's Nick?
We're at course number 10. We've made it through every section of the cow, except for the fact that you can't waste anything, and we've got this leftover Wagyu fat, with which we're gonna make donuts. To begin, we'll add all of it into our pot and fire up the heat. While our fat melts down, I'll make my glaze. We're gonna keep this classic. Just a bit of powdered sugar, a touch of vanilla extract, I don't have my homemade version today, and to finish, a splash of heavy cream. Then we mix. Once that's done, I'll slide in my Wagyu fat, and at this point, it's time to fry off our donut. I'm being very careful to make sure that every single side is perfectly golden brown, and that it gets just the right amount of that Wagyu flavor. Once our donut's finished, on we go to the paper towel, and now that our donut is perfectly fried, it's time to dip. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Course number 10. You already ate so much Wagyu today, and I think you very much passed 20,000 calories that I figured I'd let you off a little bit easy with this final course.
The smell is really good.
If you finish this donut, you've successfully eaten your way through an entire Wagyu cow.
Let's do it. Actually, we did.
Any last words, Rami?
Go subscribe so we can catch Gordon. You don't want to make me mad. Subscribe now.
I'm gonna be cooking non-stop for the next 24 hours straight. And during that time, I'll teach you everything I know about cooking. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to go out and cook anything you want. We'll start with simple but important topics, such as choosing the best equipment and ingredients you should have at home. Then we'll move on to a few basic techniques, such as making brown butter or doing a simple stir fry. And eventually, we'll move on to more exciting and complex dishes, such as shrimp scampi, buttermilk fried chicken, or steak with a red wine reduction sauce. All of this and more is in my new cookbook. This book right here will help you get to the next level. I'll sign a few of the copies for anyone who orders from the link in the description below. And for every pre-order that we get, we're gonna donate 10 meals to those in need through the FarmLink project. It is currently 12 o'clock p.m. on the dot. Let's jump into our first lesson. First up, ingredients and equipment. And make sure to take notes because for me, these are must-have things in your kitchen. The most basic and important tool in cooking is an 8-inch chef's knife. It's the most well-rounded knife you're gonna find. I'll explain a bit more later about my philosophy behind knives, but all you need is an 8-inch chef's knife and a sharpener. And if you've ever stepped foot in a kitchen, I'm sure you've seen something that looks like this. This is called a honing rod. It's not a knife sharpener. What this does is allow the sharpness on the knife to last longer. It doesn't make it any sharper. As you cut, the bottom of the knife will flatten out and this will pull it back together, but only for so long. Eventually, you'll need to sharpen. Naturally, you'll need something to cut on, which is why I suggest getting a big, nice, heavy wood cutting board. There is some care and maintenance involved, and we'll go into that later, but it's well worth it. I'd also recommend a dishwasher-safe cutting board for cutting any raw meats, fish, poultry, because that way you're not dirtying up this wood cutting board as you cook. To go with every cutting board, you should get a bench scraper. This lets you keep it nice and clean as you cook, and it also comes in handy for a variety of other things, especially with making dough. It's definitely good to splurge on a nice cast iron skillet, but as long as you have one stainless steel pan and a non-stick pan, you should be in good shape. If you plan on cooking lots of meats, where you need to reach an internal temperature to make sure it's food safe, you're gonna want an instant read thermometer. They come in all shapes and sizes, so just get one that has good reviews. You're also gonna want a microplane grater, which is gonna help with things like citrus zest and cheese, and what's called a box grater, which I'm sure you've probably seen before. I like to have one of each, especially so I don't have to dirty up my entire box grater when I wanna use the small function, and instead can just whip out the microplane. If you're gonna be making stocks, soups, and even things like rice before you cook it, you're gonna want a fine mesh strainer. This one right here is called the chinois, and you can use it for any type of straining, but the great thing is, if you make something like a soup, you can get it really silky and smooth when you pass it through here. To finish with equipment, a few classic tools you've probably heard of, such as a metal whisk, a nice and sturdy metal spatula, a pair of metal tongs, which I definitely can't live without in the kitchen, then a nice rimmed baking sheet fitted with a wire rack. This is great for baking, of course, but also for resting hot things after you cook them, such as fried chicken or steak. And last but not least, other what I would call optional appliances. Think a high-powered blender, a butane torch, which is super fun to use, a rice cooker, definitely one of my favorites, and really any other specific equipment you might want. When it comes to ingredients, it's important that you have two different types of oil. First is a high-heat cooking oil. A lot of people use peanut oil, but that can get pretty expensive, so I stick with a simple vegetable oil. And I use enough of it that I buy it in bulk and then stick it in these nice squeeze bottles. The second, olive oil, but make sure it's only extra virgin. That's gonna be the purest, highest quality olive oil you can find, and you can cook with it, but don't go above low to medium temperatures. I prefer to use olive oil as a finishing oil after the food has been cooked. I myself probably buy way too much butter, but it's an important ingredient when it comes to cooking, and you should taste a bunch of different ones to find the brand you like the best. If you want that butter flavor when you cook but don't want it to burn at high temperatures, get yourself some clarified butter. Right here I have a jar of ghee, so if I go and make something like pancakes, I can use the clarified butter the whole time and it's not gonna burn. It's got a much higher smoke point than regular butter. Then of course we have salt, and just like oil, I would suggest you get 2 types. You can look at kosher salt as your all-purpose salt, sort of like the vegetable oil, and then the nicer flaky salt as your finishing salt, kind of like olive oil. When it comes to seasonings, that's totally up to you. I probably have 400 or 500 seasonings in my kitchen here, and that's just to say how much variety there is. When it comes to pantry staples such as mayonnaise, mustard, soy sauce, ketchup, all those come down to preference as well. I found my favorites just by tasting a bunch of different things, and I'd encourage you to do the same. I use a lot of zest when I cook because it gives the most potent flavor when it comes to citrus, so I always have things like lemon, orange, and lime around. The same way you shouldn't waste a crust on a pizza, don't waste the zest in your citrus. If you want your cooking and food to be fresh, try to keep as many fresh herbs as you can. Wrap these lightly in damp paper towels, throw them in a plastic bag, and keep them in the fridge. They'll last so much longer that way, and I'm telling you right now that one of the easiest things to take your food to the next level is get fresh herbs. When it comes to cheese, never ever buy it freshly grated, unless you absolutely have to. Instead, just buy your cheese in a block, and that way you can grate it yourself, it'll melt even better, and it doesn't come with all those starchy chemicals in the bag either. Last up is a good old rotisserie chicken. I like these because of how versatile they are, but this is more of a preference than anything. I just think that for the price, they're super convenient and they can go a really long way when it comes to cooking. Looks like it's 1 o'clock, time for the next lesson.
Nick's letting me and a couple of other special guests introduce a couple topics throughout the video. Next up is knife skills. They're so important that when I interviewed to be Nick's cameraman, he tested out my knife skills.
When it comes to knife skills, they're very important and they certainly don't have to be intimidating. The first step is to get yourself a nice 8-inch chef's knife and a simple sharpener. There's no need for one of those giant knife blocks. This is practically the only knife I touch in the kitchen, to the point that I have a drawer full of only chef's knives and nothing else. When it comes to cutting, the first thing to do is to secure your work surface that you're cutting on. The way I do that is simply by adding a damp paper towel right under the board. And that way, it shouldn't move around as I cut. Next is the proper way we hold our knife. This right here is incorrect. You have much less control, and you'll never see a properly trained chef holding a chef's knife like this. What we do is called the pinch grip. Simply take your index finger and thumb and bring it right across the knife like this, where you're pinching the base of the blade of the knife. Then your other 3 fingers should fall naturally behind the handle, and what this will do is make the blade an extension of your hand and arm. Use an empty cutting board and simply do a few practices with slicing your knife. Once you've mastered the way to hold the knife, the next thing I want to talk about is our other hand, the hand that's going to hold the food you'll be cutting. Make it a practice to never ever have your fingers straight out like this. You always want to be making a claw shape with your hand. That goes for anything, anytime you're cutting. The easiest way to spot a beginner is when their hand is like this or like this when cutting. This right here is eventually going to chop a finger off. Instead, if you're using this claw method, keeping that middle finger as the frontmost part that's guiding your knife, you can use it as a guide and you have a much less likely chance of actually cutting your hand. And on top of this, it really does help as a guide to get those perfect knife cuts. You'll also notice that when I cut, I'm not chopping the knife down like this. Instead, I'm rolling the knife forward with each cut. And if sharp, the knife should glide straight through the object you're cutting. We have plenty of exciting things to get through today, and I want to actually start applying these principles to real food soon, but I'll practice just a bit more on this onion so you can see a bit more of the cutting in action.
Nick, you want to hear a fun fact?
No.
You know that onions have 5 times the DNA that humans have?
Using that claw method, I'll slice through the onion, chop off just that top section, and using that rocking motion going forward like I showed you before, we'll gently and carefully get those nice slices of onion. And since I have my finger as a guide, they should be nice and thin and uniform, just like that. There are a variety of different knife cuts that you might hear: small dice, medium dice, large dice, minced, julienne, brunoise, chiffonade. My philosophy is that you can learn these if you want, but at the same time, as long as you know how to use a knife, don't let all of these different terms make cooking confusing for you. If you can cut, you can cut. It's all there is to it. Which brings us to 2 o'clock, time for the next lesson.
We're moving on to brown butter. It's delicious and it allows you to turn butter into something completely new. It's so nutty and fragrant, but it could certainly be a challenge. Just make sure you focus carefully and you get it golden like me.
It took me a long time to learn to make perfect brown butter every time. It's actually something I learned from my grandmother. You have to have a perfect sense of timing and also residual heat, meaning even when you turn off the heat, the pan's still gonna be hot, continuing to cook whatever's in there. All of this has to be taken into account when you're cooking, whether it's butter, chicken, a steak, or anything else. And the reason I like butter is because the butter doesn't lie. If it's perfect golden brown, it's perfect golden brown. There's no in between. The first step is to fire up the heat and add in that butter. If you're being really precise, you can chop the butter up into small bits, because that'll help it melt and brown more evenly, but I've been doing it for long enough that I just throw the whole stick in there. Let it melt over medium or low. I also like something like brown butter because it forces you to focus. You can't walk off and go on your phone. You really have to be present and focusing on what's happening at all times. As it begins to melt, you want to make sure you're constantly moving things around so that nothing sticks and burns. burns. There are many times in cooking where you don't want to be touching anything, and you actually want the food to stick and start to get darker and darker golden brown, such as cooking a steak where you want to leave it and get that nice crust. But because butter is so fine and delicate, it can burn fast enough that you have to be constantly moving it around. What we're actually going to be doing in here is browning the milk solids. If you've ever burned butter, which I'm sure you have, you've seen those little black specks once you burn it, and that's what we're trying to toast right now. But instead of it burning, we're trying to get it perfectly nutty, toasted, and golden brown. When it really starts to foam up like this is when you know you're close. The key is moving things around and trying to see through to the bottom, and the second you see it get light golden brown, take it and toss it off to the side. As I pour, you should see those beautiful golden brown bits falling as the last thing. Those are the milk solids. And as tempted as I am to just drink this as is, you can save this for so many different uses in cooking, some of which we're gonna do later today. And as I lift some up and pour it out like this, you should see that even minutes after it's been cooked, it's perfectly golden brown. If you can teach yourself to make consistently perfect brown butter, it'll help you to understand a lot more than just that in food. By the way, this is just a few hours later, and this is what brown butter looks like after it's been cooled in the fridge. In this section, I want to cook one more thing, toasted pine nuts. Just again to show how you can easily transform the flavor of an ingredient, but also really focusing to make sure you heat it up perfectly and not too much. But before we do that, since that does require tossing the pan like this, I'm going to teach you what's called the sauté snap, not using pine nuts because they're way too expensive to practice with, but using cheese balls. I'm sure you've seen someone doing this at some point, perfectly tossing up vegetables in a pan or whatever else it might be, and it's a skill that you must have in the kitchen. I'll pour in just a few of my cheese balls, covering the bottom of the pan. I love cheese balls. And then it's all about confidence and flicking your wrist. You can definitely start slower, but the goal is to flip the cheese balls over onto themselves each time, with the idea being that if you had something in here that was being cooked, you'd constantly be hitting all sides of it. You can also practice with two hands if you'd like, especially since some pans can be quite heavy, but try getting that motion down with something that's cheap and inexpensive like cheese balls. Then, once you've gotten experience, you can work your way on up to nicer ingredients. And then all we're left with is introducing the heat.
To everyone watching this, you gotta know how to make a good soup and a good salad. You don't, you really better get it together, because it's a life skill that's even easier than tying your shoes or counting to 10. It's 3 p.m. I'm sending you some kick-ass vibes. Get going!
I want to talk about soup and salad together because they're both very simple, which means there's no excuses when it comes to making them delicious. The way I think about them both is balance, and that's a key word in thinking about food as a whole. You need to think about temperatures, textures, flavors, salt, sweetness, acid, seasonality. There are just so many factors that come into play when you think about food, and especially in something as basic as a soup or a salad, you have to make sure you're using all of those to make the best dish that you can. To start with our salad, it's always good to know how to make a simple vinaigrette, and typically that's about 3 parts oil. Here I'm using olive oil to 1 part vinegar. I'm using red wine vinegar. That means if you have 3 tablespoons of oil, you'll have 1 tablespoon of vinegar. After that, I'll add a pinch of salt, a light drizzle of honey, and just a pinch of pepper. Then, whether you're doing this in a mortar and pestle like me or in a blender, you want to keep mixing until it's emulsified, meaning it looks like one consistent mixture. Like I said, we're going for a bunch of different textures and flavors, so I'll start with some simple romaine lettuce, which is nice and light and crispy, a great base for my salad. I even like to think of factors such as color when cooking. If I want peppers in my salad, it's going to be much more appetizing if I have a variety of colors in it. And again, you want to have the same mindset for soup. Even adding something like a little swirl of cream to the top will add not only flavor, but also a nice inviting color on the top of the soup you're about to enjoy. I think we can all agree that this doesn't look quite as good as this. To assemble our salad, I'll add in some of those greens, then toss in some of those peppers, a nice sprinkle of toasted pine nuts, a nice grating of Parmesan cheese. This, by the way, will give us some nice salt, a nice drizzle of our dressing. Man, you want to taste?
Yeah, sure.
Is it good?
It's actually really good, yeah.
And then to finish, a few of these crostini, which I find to be a lot better than croutons, and I'll break over the top of my salad. That last touch will give us different sizes and textures so that no bite of the salad is the same. You might get a red pepper with a piece of lettuce and a large crostini, or you might get a piece of lettuce with a light coating of cheese, some toasted pine nuts, and some breadcrumbs. You have to keep your food exciting.
Hey there, I'm Kevin from Cook. So since there are quite a few veggies left over from the salad, let's learn how to stir fry. Now, I've made a lot of stir fries. They're very simple and definitely delicious. I always stress the importance of learning the art of stir frying, but I'll let Nick take it from here.
Whether you're a college student, you just have some scraps in your fridge at home, or you just want to make a nice quick meal, a stir fry is always the way to go. That or fried rice, which we'll go into later. The great part about a stir fry, you can use whatever ingredients you want. As I said earlier, I like to have a prep board separate from my wood cutting board. So for things like garlic and onions, when I put them down on here and chop them all up, We have perfectly minced garlic, and that flavor isn't gonna stay in our cutting board. Same goes for the onion. Start with a nice wok or really any pan you want. We'll go into the bottom with just a little bit of oil. You want something that has a high smoke point because we're gonna cook fast and at a high temperature. First, you wanna add in your aromatics, such as the garlic and the onions, the things that are gonna really give us that foundational flavor. Stir those around just a bit, adjusting the heat as necessary so they don't burn. And I want you to understand that we wouldn't start with something like a pepper because they'd be all wilted and overcooked by the time we're finished cooking our stir fry. Next up, I have some thinly sliced chicken that I'll toss in. But you can use anything you want here, whether it's chicken, steak, shrimp, or even a vegetarian stir fry. As I cook here, I'm also adjusting the heat up and down as I go because I don't want the garlic and onion to burn. Just like we had to do with the brown butter, you need to focus. Always be on the lookout for that ingredient that could burn first and just adjust the heat to prevent that from happening. At this point, my chicken is cooked through, so I'm gonna add in some of my peppers from that last lesson, and I'll stir this up just a little bit. As you can see, I'm still using that flicking technique. Once those peppers are lightly softened, although I like to keep mine nice and crunchy, I'll add in a little bit of rice wine vinegar. That is gonna give us the acidity to balance out this dish, as well as a nice splash of soy sauce. That's gonna give us flavor and also the salt that we desperately need. Notice we haven't added any salt until just now. Use these liquids to scrape off all those delicious bits on the bottom of your pan, which are also gonna have tons and tons of flavor. And to finish things off, I'm gonna make what's called a cornstarch slurry. I'm just gonna add a bit of cornstarch to some water, and when it's nice and consistent, I'll drop that right into my stir fry. That cornstarch will thicken up all the liquid in our stir fry and give us a nice, beautiful glaze. It essentially brings your sauce together. Transfer that right away into a bowl, and just take note of that beautiful glaze that we got from the cornstarch and soy sauce and vinegar at the end. This took me no more than just a couple minutes, and I guarantee you, watching this right now, could easily go home and make this. Anytime, anywhere. Oh, 5 o'clock. Time for our next lesson. I'm gonna let Gordon introduce this one. After Gordon taught us this, which as you can see, I was pretty excited about, I've actually done it several times with a blindfold on. But today, I'm gonna guide you through it a bit slower, without a blindfold. Don't try to learn with a blindfold on. Learning how to break down a whole chicken is really important. I'm not saying you have to do it every day, but it'll teach you where all the individual parts of the chicken come from, and you can apply this to many other parts of cooking. To begin, pat your chicken dry. You don't want liquids flying out everywhere as you butcher it. Lay it down on your cutting board, breast side up, and it may look confusing right now, but after we get through a few cuts, you'll start to understand it right away. You're gonna make an incision just to cut the skin inside each leg. That's just gonna help you to see inside for what we're gonna do next. Do that same thing on the other side. Once you've separated that skin and can clearly see inside both of the legs and thighs, you can turn the chicken towards you and, holding down the breast, put your whole hand around the thigh and leg on one side and lift and crack. What you're looking to do is dislocate this one bone right here that comes out of the thigh. And after you've done that, you can easily fit your knife right inside there, close it back down, and make a nice cut straight through. And already, right there, we have one leg and one thigh. Flip the chicken around and do the same thing on the other side. Again, all you're looking for is that bone right there to pop out, after which you can fit in your knife and make a clean cut right through. 2 legs and 2 thighs. For the wings, you want to stretch them out like this, and then simply start carving around the wing with your knife, letting the weight of the chicken hang down and do all the work for you. Eventually, your knife should swiftly and easily cut right through that bone there, and just like that, you've taken off a wing. Do the same with the other side. Now, all we have left are the breasts. There's a bone straight through the middle that divides them for you. So all you have to do is start by following that bone on one side, then just continue cutting down, keeping the knife right up against the bone, then eventually you can open it up to give yourself a little bit more visibility and just keep driving the knife along the bone. The goal, of course, is to get as much meat as possible, and eventually off it'll come. And as you can see, there's one clean chicken breast. For the other side, just flip it around and once again, cut along the bone, and eventually you got your second chicken breast. And what you're left with is 2 breasts, 1 carcass, 2 wings, and 2 leg quarters, which includes both the leg and the thigh. And the best part, it's only 5:32. It's 6 o'clock, so we're gonna make stock. It's a great way to get rid of kitchen scraps, and once you know what scraps you can and can't use, it's just about one of the easiest things to make, but it's packed with flavor. To begin, you'll fill a pot just about 3/4 of the way with water. Then we'll go in with our mirepoix, which is simply carrots, celery, and onion. If you ever hear mirepoix, that's what it means. It's just a flavorful trio of those 3 classic vegetables that people use often in stocks and soups. And like I said, it's a good time to use leftovers. So here I have some parsley stems, then one of my favorite ingredients, a few Parmesan cheese rinds. And then in we go with the carcass of a cooked rotisserie chicken, and also the raw carcass of the chicken we just broke down. Then we'll crank up the heat and set it aside. You're gonna wanna check on it every 20 minutes or so and skim off all that foam that appears on the top. That's gonna give you a cloudy stock, and we don't want that. After that, we'll let it cook about 4 or 5 hours, and then we'll have a nice flavorful chicken stock using all these amazing scraps that we've saved up in our fridge from over time. I like to freeze all my scraps over several months and then make one big stock every so often. And you can use whatever bones you want, but make sure to stay away from bitter greens and veggies such as kale, cabbage, artichokes, bok choy. If in doubt, just look it up. And one last thing, don't salt your stock. You're gonna reduce it down at the end, which means we're gonna boil off and let a lot of the water escape, which concentrates the stock and gives us more powerful flavor in smaller amounts of stock. And it's easier for storage, but if you salt it now, it might become way too salty later. You wanna be able to control the seasoning when you go to cook with it. All right, we're doing our first cameraman swap of the night.
Good luck, Kevin. I'm out. I'm getting some sleep.
There are lots of sauces in cooking, but there are a few in particular that you must know. They're called the French mother sauces. And once you learn the foundations, you can apply it to just about anything you can imagine. And that's the beauty of sauces.
Our first sauce is a bechamel. It's the base for many of our favorite foods. Chicken pot pie, mac and cheese. It's a creamy foundational sauce. We'll start by melting down 2 tablespoons of butter. We're doing this over medium heat so the butter doesn't burn, because we want to keep the color of the sauce nice and light and white. In with the butter, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour, and we're making right now what we call a roux. Turn the heat to low and stir constantly until it's evenly mixed up. Once the mixture starts to bubble, add in 1 1/4 cups of hot milk, continuing to whisk, and then you can turn up the heat and bring this to a boil. Seasoning it with salt and pepper as it cooks. Once it's thickened up, I'll turn off the heat. As you can probably tell, this process happens pretty quickly. The flour just did exactly what we did earlier with the cornstarch in the stir fry. Any starch like that will thicken up a sauce, and that's how we just achieved this. You can use this as is, or add in about a 1/2 cup of cheese once the heat's off, and stir that right away to melt in all the cheese. You'll now have a really nice thick cheese sauce, and if you added in a bunch of macaroni, you'd have the perfect mac and cheese. If your sauce gets too thick, just add a little bit of water and whisk. And just like that, our bechamel is done. As you know, I'm Italian, so of course you need to have a good tomato sauce. This is one of the simplest things to make. You can either do it by hand or go into a blender with some tomatoes. These are San Marzano tomatoes, which seem to be a standard in a lot of kitchens, but I urge you, no matter what canned tomatoes you're using, to taste. Make sure they have nice acidity, make sure the sugar levels are to your liking, and if not, you can add lemon juice or add sugar or adjust in any way you please. To start, we'll pulse this up a few times. Then we'll set this off to the side, and now into a pan with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, some freshly minced garlic. This is one of the best smells that you can create in a kitchen. And once the garlic has gotten nice and aromatic, depending on how spicy you want it to be, go ahead and add in some red pepper flakes. Continue cooking over medium-low heat until the garlic becomes nice and lightly golden brown. Once they're golden brown, pour in the tomato sauce to slow down the cooking. Pouring in those crushed tomatoes will immediately halt the cooking on the garlic, just to make sure they don't go too far over golden brown. At this point, just tear off some fresh basil and simply finish with a little bit of salt and a little bit of freshly cracked black pepper. Optionally, you can add just a little sprinkle of sugar, which will help to cut the acidity of the tomatoes. Once this has been cooking down for about 8 to 10 minutes, our sauce is complete. You can use it with pasta, pizza, or whatever you'd like. Do yourself a favor and never buy that Prego pasta sauce. Also, never buy pasta sauce that's in a plastic bottle. It's not only cheaper, but just tastes so much better to buy a nice can of tomatoes like this and doctor it up with a very inexpensive amount of ingredients, and you'll have a tomato sauce that's 100 times better than one of those cheap can ones. Prego. For our third sauce, we're gonna make a velouté, which means velvet in French. Keep that in mind as you make this one. The start is no different from making our bechamel. We're gonna go into a pan with 3 tablespoons of butter, and then since we're making a roux again, just like the bechamel, since we did 3 tablespoons of butter, we go in with 3 tablespoons of flour. And once again, we'll whisk right away until it becomes consistent and begins to bubble. And once it begins to bubble, we'll slowly add in a little bit of stock until it thickens up again each time, and then continuing to add more, stirring constantly until we've added 2 cups of stock. To finish this off, just add a touch of salt and a little bit of white pepper, since we want to keep that beautiful light color. As you can see, it should eventually become nice and velvety, and is often used just to serve over things like poultry and fish. This sauce is slightly less common, but it's nice to know you can use the same base and then either cream or stock to finish off the sauce. You'll see an application of this type of sauce later in the video. Our final sauce is hollandaise. If you've ever had eggs Benedict, then you know what hollandaise is. And if you haven't, you need to know what hollandaise is. To start, we need 3 egg yolks. And since we haven't yet talked about how to separate an egg, here's the perfect time. First off, when you crack an egg, don't crack it on a sharp surface. Crack it on a flat surface like this. Then, to separate, gently break it open, leaning it towards one side so that the yolk falls into one of the 2 compartments, and then carefully drop it back and forth, filling off all the egg whites until you have egg whites in one bowl and a yolk in the other. You can discard the shells. Once you get really comfortable in the kitchen, you should also learn the one-handed egg crack. It's fun to do when you're cooking fast and cooking often, and you simply hit it against the board and then crack it open with your fingers like this. This right here is another helpful setup in cooking. It's called a double boiler. You only really have to use it on occasion, but instead of providing direct heat, the water from the pot below will steam up the bowl above and slowly and gently cook whatever's in here. So it's perfect for melting chocolate or making something like hollandaise that's very sensitive and easy to overdo. Have your ingredients prepped out, because once you start, you have to move quickly. First, in with our 3 egg yolks, and immediately we'll start whisking as we add in 1 tablespoon of water, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a little pinch of salt, and a sprinkle of cayenne pepper. Then we begin tossing in small cubes of a full stick of butter, continuing to whisk until each one has melted in. If the egg begins to get clumpy, turn down the heat immediately and lift the bowl off of the pot temporarily. So we're basically combining the butter and the egg eggs and slowly cooking those eggs to thicken them. But we are absolutely not looking for scrambled eggs. Make sure not to forget to stir up on the edges as well, because that's when you're gonna start to get scrambled eggs on the sides of your bowl too. Again, if you feel like you can't stir fast enough without your eggs scrambling, just turn down the heat a little bit. Now is the moment where I really see the sauce starting to thicken up. So at this point, I am gonna turn down the heat, continuing to scrape down the sides of the bowl until I have a nice hollandaise sauce. If it gets too thick, simply add a splash of hot water, and you can always use one of those fine strainers we talked about earlier if you have a few clumps of egg in there and want to make it perfect. But as you can see, this one's perfectly smooth. Once you get a nice velvety coating on the back of a spoon, your hollandaise sauce is done.
You better be saving the hollandaise sauce for eggs benedict later. Speaking of which, you must properly learn how to cook eggs in different ways. Nick, showdown.
We're gonna start by making 4 different types of eggs. Going right off that hollandaise sauce, eggs are versatile and very important, and can certainly teach you a lot about cooking. We're gonna do a poached egg, a fried egg, a boiled egg, and a scrambled egg. To begin, crack your egg into a ramekin, and once your water just barely begins to simmer, add a little splash of vinegar, which will help to tighten everything up when the egg drops in. Then slowly start stirring with a whisk to create a gentle vortex, and then lower in the egg and drop it in the center. That vortex will spin it around and keep it looking nice. After between 2 and 4 minutes, scoop out that egg, adjust the timing based on how firm you want that yolk. And optionally, if you want it to look nice, you can pull off those ugly bits of egg white. What you're left with is a beautiful poached egg. Our second egg is gonna be a simple fried egg. We'll go into a pan with some oil that has a high smoke point, because since we're trying to get those crispy bits on the egg, we need to cook at a high temperature, and butter would burn. Although clarified butter would also be an option here. Once that oil begins to start shimmering, that means it's nice and hot and ready to go. So in we'll go with our egg. Be careful, as the egg might start spitting here, and control the temperature so it doesn't start to burn. What you're watching for is some golden brown bits to appear around the edges of the egg. Our goal right now is an egg that's cooked through with a nice crispy edge, and for me, I always want that yolk to still be able to pop. Once the edges are golden brown and crispy, that's our cue to flip the egg over. Make sure you're flipping away from yourself so as not to splatter yourself with oil. And in one swift motion, you'll flip the egg. On this side, we're just looking to cook the rest of the egg whites through, so I'll lightly swirl around the oil to make sure it really gets in there. And after about a minute to 30 seconds in there, our egg is complete. That is one good looking egg. Time to see if we still got that nice yolk. Like that?
That looks so good.
Kevin, I know you like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Our third type of eggs will be scrambled. Into a large bowl, I'll crack in 4 large eggs. Now would be a good time to practice the one-handed egg crack. In fact, I'll give you a slow one-handed egg crack so you can hopefully see how it works. And to that, just for some added color, I'm gonna go ahead and separate out 1 or 2 egg yolks and add those to the mix as well. Like I said, you can use your hands to separate if it's easier. And now whisk them up, but make sure not to over-mix. Then in a non-stick pan over medium heat, we'll add a tablespoon of butter. And once the butter becomes lightly foamy, pour in those eggs, stir continuously, scraping around the entire pan until the eggs begin to clump up. Then reduce the heat to low and continue gently folding the eggs. They should be slightly wet, and you really don't want to break them apart all that much. And I'm also gonna add just a pinch of salt, a touch of black pepper. Optionally, you can fold in a bit of cream or creme fraiche for some extra creaminess. And oftentimes when I make scrambled eggs, I add in a secret ingredient, but I'm gonna keep that one hidden right here in this cookbook. Oh. Time for another cameraman sub-in.
While baking certainly isn't for everybody, it's important that you know how to make a simple dough as well as learn the technique of kneading.
Which I'm gonna teach you to do right now. It is 9 p.m. on the dot, and we're gonna make a pizza dough, which we'll come back to later and actually make a pizza with. I'll begin in a bowl with 1 1/3 cups of lukewarm water, to which I'll add 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast, whisking as I pour it in. To this, I'll also add 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Yeast, water, and sugar is the start of most dough recipes. And this process is what's gonna allow the yeast to activate and wake up. We'll let this sit for 5 minutes to let the yeast bloom. And at this point, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then begin folding this into our 3 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. Mix until the dough becomes nice and shaggy, and then with lightly floured hands, go ahead and begin kneading it in the bowl, trying to really push all the dough together as you fold it over itself. Once it's in a ball, lightly flour your work surface, and then place it down over the flour, and then begin kneading by folding the part further from you towards your body, and then pushing down with the ball of your hand, this part right here. Then simply continue this motion, pressing the dough into itself using your weight from above. You should really make sure you nail down a good technique for kneading, because otherwise, depending on how long you're supposed to be kneading for, it can actually get quite tiring. You may need to flour the board again as needed, although the goal is to have the dough just sticky enough that it makes it easy to knead without sticking to the cutting board. Once the dough looks nice and smooth, you can test whether it's ready to rise by gently pressing in a finger and seeing if it lightly bounces back at you. If that happens, you're ready to go. Lightly grease your bowl with just a touch of oil, then add in your dough and make sure to turn it around on all sides to gently coat. Unlike me, it's time for this dough to get a little bit of rest. I hope you sleep well, buddy.
Nick, why are you making pasta at 10 p.m.? Go to bed. Only you would still be making fresh pasta right now.
In all seriousness, it's important to learn how to cook dry pasta the right way, but it's even more important to learn how to make it fresh. Nicholas, show them your ways.
Whether you're cooking dry or fresh pasta, the first thing we always do is salt our water until it tastes like the ocean. You may have already heard someone say this before, but you're likely gonna add a lot more salt than you think you should be adding. The pasta is gonna absorb some of that salt as it cooks, essentially seasoning your pasta in the cooking process. Next, we'll add our pasta, and you should trust your palate over the packaging instructions. Once you feel like the pasta may start being done, go ahead and carefully grab a piece and take a bite of the pasta. You might even hear the crunch, so it's obvious to me that it's not done quite yet, but I'll let it go just a few more minutes. The more you cook, the better your heat tolerance will become as well, but I'll talk about that more shortly. One more taste, and our pasta is perfect al dente. Al dente is essentially when the pasta is just slightly underdone. There's still a little bit of a bite to it at the end. For now, I'm gonna save this because we're using this later. And don't forget, always save a bit of pasta water. We'll explain that later too. You also need to know how to make fresh pasta dough, and I'll show you how to do it with no special equipment whatsoever. To start, go onto a work surface with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then using a bowl, make a nice hole in the middle. Into the center, I'll go in with 3 eggs and 2 yolks, and I often like to add just a little drizzle of olive oil. Then, with a fork, break all of those yolks and begin to whisk it all up, trying not to let any of the egg escape outside the well. This is when that bench scraper we talked about earlier comes in handy. If anything escapes, scoop it right back in. Once your eggs are pretty well mixed, you'll slowly start pulling in the flour from the inside edges of the well, mixing that in to get it thicker and thicker. And once that egg mixture is finally thick enough that it's not going to run across the cutting board, transfer over to your bench scraper to do the rest of the work. If you don't have a bench scraper, you can continue using the fork, or you can even jump in right now with your hands. But for now, I'll continue layering it over itself, working all of this flour into the dough. And man, there's nothing like a good 10:30 p.m. pasta dough. 10:33. Once the dough becomes a bit more dry, go ahead and start using your hands. We're gonna use that same kneading technique that we just did with pizza dough. Hence why we're doing this right after. Bring all the dough together with your hands, firmly pressing it together, and then slowly begin to start working the dough. But try not to incorporate any additional flour unless you absolutely need it. The dough might feel pretty firm at first, but it's meant to be that way. Once the dough is finally done, nice and smooth, you'll want to cover this in plastic wrap and rest in the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes. To make fresh pasta, you can simply take a rolling pin like this and roll that dough out as thin as you can possibly get it. You may have to add some flour once in a while, and then once nice and thin, you can go ahead and cut it in whatever way you'd like. For instance, if you want nice thin pieces of pasta like tagliatelle, simply cut them like this. Or if you want wider, ribbon-like strands, cut them like this. Either way, you'll cook fresh pasta in boiling water until it floats to the top, and then it's done. It's 10:59. I'm pretty happy about that.
Everybody needs to know how to get a crust. Whether it's steak, salmon, chicken, or really anything else, you need to learn how to get that perfect crispy edge. It provides flavor, texture, and so much more.
Before we use something expensive to practice getting a crust, I like to use a potato. When it comes to this, if you can already make brown butter, then you have a good sense of temperature control. But now it gets a little bit more difficult. You have to be very attentive, picking up on the very fine cues that the food is gonna give you to give it exactly what it needs to get that perfect golden brown finish or crust. I'll crank up my heat to medium high, go into my pan with some oil that has a nice high smoke point. Once the oil begins to shimmer, I'll lay my potato away from me and then press down so it's making even contact across its entire surface area. Once that happens, I'll release my hand and turn the heat down just a slight bit so it doesn't burn. And at this point, I don't touch it. It's a waiting game. This is a good area to really practice getting comfortable around a spitting pan. You don't really want that happening often, but little specks of oil are gonna hit you once in a while, and you can't be jumping back every time it happens. The best chefs don't even flinch when they're hit by that oil, and eventually you get used to it. It's just a small little kiss on your skin each time. The cues I'm looking for here are the smells. If I smell burning right away, then I know to turn down the heat. I'm also looking around the bottom edges of the potato right by the pan to see if there's any darker colors starting to appear. And as you can see, a beautifully golden brown potato. Just what we're looking for. If you can successfully do a potato, you can do anything. Now it's time for a steak. First, make sure to salt it all over. Probably a little bit more than you'd think to salt, just like the pasta water, and roll it all around the edges to make sure you're coating every last bit of the steak. Next up, some fresh cracked black pepper, once again on both sides of the steak and all around the edges. Then into our cast iron pan, we'll go in with some oil that has a high smoke point, and once that oil begins to shimmer, laying away from me so it doesn't splatter towards me, in we go. Once again, pressing down quickly to make sure we get that full surface area contact. Bring that heat down to medium and let the steak do its thing. Similar to the potato, keep an eye on the edge of the steak. Once in a while, you can even lift it up and peek at it to make sure you're getting that crust. And eventually, once you've achieved that nice crust, go ahead and flip. What this right here means is that I messed up by not fully pressing down the steak in this one area, and it didn't make perfect contact with the pan, so it's not quite as brown as the rest of it. That's a mistake that you can definitely avoid, but overall, it's a really nice looking crust. We are literally cooking steak right now at 11:26 at night. Once that steak has a nice crust on both sides, I'm gonna throw in a big hunk of butter to the other side of the pan, turning down the heat to low at this point so that the butter doesn't burn. And if you've ever heard that term butter base, you're about to see it in action. If you want any aromatics, go ahead and toss in some garlic and perhaps some rosemary. To butter baste the steak, which coats it in butter and lets it cook the rest of the way through, move the aromatics to one section of the pan and move the steak to the other. And from that third section, you're gonna lift the butter and throw it over the top of the steak. This right here is the steak equivalent of taking a nice warm bubble bath. Make sure to flip the steak a couple times at this point to make sure even cooking on both sides. And then we'll move our steak to the side to rest, placing over the top those aromatics, which will continue to seep their flavor down into the steak. Resting a steak, even if it's just for a few minutes, helps to lock in all the juices so that they don't all spill out when you cut it open. If you're just starting out cooking steaks, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and use a thermometer to get a temp. This is reading just above 130 Fahrenheit, which is perfect for medium rare. Now is what I like to call the moment of truth. That right there is a perfectly cooked piece of steak. Delicious. I like my steak right around 135, but either way, nothing tastes better than some 11:30 p.m. steak. That's good. Just before midnight, let's go ahead and check in on our dough, which seems to have risen beautifully. This will be ready for us when we go to make our pizza. And it's time for our midnight reset. I've never cooked for this long, but we're about halfway there. And we're still cooking. The chicken stock's still going in the background, but we're gonna get through a few of the dishes, and I'll leak a couple of the pictures from the cookbook, because they are pretty cool. A lot of them are based off the stuff we just cooked, like this beautiful pasta dough image, or these gorgeous scrambled eggs that have that secret ingredient I told you about. But I do have the crispy chicken confit in here, and also my Thai chicken noodle soup. And lastly, I just picked one of my favorite recipes to show you an image of, what I call the yoki gnocchi, which is a dish I created that, in my opinion, is the best dish you can make to secure a second date. If this video gets 100,000 likes, I will later attempt to cook for 100 hours straight, which is about 4 days, to beat the current Guinness World Record of 87 hours. All you have to do if you want to see me try this is go like the video. I'm gonna sign this book here, and also toss in this knife, one of my favorite chef's knives, and I'll send it to somebody who pre-orders the book in the description below in the next couple days. For now, we're just gonna go ahead and neaten up here.
Now it's 1 a.m. and we are ready to talk about kitchen cleanliness.
Sydney and I have known each other for many years, and every week he helps me out with cleaning the kitchen, which is very generous of him. I figured since we're basically halfway through the challenge, we'd show you a couple of the best and easiest cleaning hacks during this section.
First thing, to clean the cutting board, we cut the lemon, and then with lemon juice, with salt, and then we'll remove all the food residue.
So you literally are just rubbing the salt with lemon juice into the board?
Yes, and then let sit for like 5-10 minutes.
So now into the sink?
Yes, with hot water. After we rinse with hot water, will help to get rid of the stains and the odor. So now we use like a dry cloth. For kind of this board, we have oil and board cream.
This is only with a wood cutting board. You have to oil it.
It won't dry or won't crack or anything like that.
Looks brand new.
It does. And we're done.
Wow.
Back to action again. But Nick, don't throw the knife into the cutting board again, so. No. With the lemon that we just used, come to the sink with me. When it starts to smell bad, throw in the sink disposal. Nick, grab me some ice, please.
Okay.
Now we can just throw in there with the lemon.
Okay.
The reason for that is to keep the disposal clean.
And that's just a quick and easy way to make sure that your dish disposal smells good and is clean again. So next up, let's say we have a pan that's pretty dirty. If I move these onions away, they have these big dark black spots. How do I get rid of those?
First thing we could do is to add a little water.
So letting it soak is actually a legitimate cleaning tactic, huh?
It is. Come with me.
Back to the sink.
After that, just rinse. Just make sure you get, the nice stainless steel cleaner to help make your work easier. And then with a sponge, you just scrub and you have your brand new frying pan again.
So for cast iron pan, a lot of people have no idea how to clean that.
For that, we usually use salt, a little bit of water, and then dish soap. And then we just scrub with a harsh sponge, then just give like a quick rinse. Now that you have your cast iron clean, you just make sure it's completely dry.
What happens if it's not dry?
You will rust.
So it's kind of similar to cleaning the cutting board.
Yes, and then you put some oil.
Sydney, that's a good looking cast iron.
A lot of people ask, because of the hot water. In some cities, it makes all the glasses all foggy.
And there's nothing more disgusting than getting like a really foggy wine glass.
Now we're just gonna pour it out.
Hold on, I wanted to drink that.
Oh, Nick, it's 1 a.m., so just pour that. So now we're gonna rinse that. We're gonna use the white vinegar. Now we're gonna use like a microfiber cloth. And then with a hot water, you just rinse, make sure it won't smell vinegar. And then you have no foggy wine glass.
Sydney, thank you for helping us with the cleaning hacks. Can you stick around if we make eggs Benedict?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, dude, it's pouring rain out here.
Eggs Benedict is so delicious, and there's nothing more sexy than a runny yolk either.
So for the eggs Benedict, just like we did earlier, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of vinegar into some boiling water. Then I'll begin stirring around the water to create a vortex, and then go ahead and lower in one of my eggs. Continue stirring gently to keep that vortex, and since I'm making 2 portions here, I can go ahead and add in another egg. To test these, all you have to do is pull them out and poke those yolks. You should be able to tell how cooked through it is, and this is perfect already. Now for my English muffins, into a pan with a hunk of butter, because you can't put in all the effort of making something like eggs Benedict and then serve it on cold, untoasted English muffins. Once our butter gets nice and foamy, I'll toss in my English muffins face down, and you'll notice that as I press each one down, I press it over a big section that has butter and then move it over to its own area. That way the whole thing's gonna get toasted and we're not leaving any part behind. Once the English muffins become lightly toasted, just like this, toss them onto a plate. I like to use smoked salmon as the base. And to finish, we'll place down our eggs, one for me and one for Sydney, and then of course our hollandaise sauce, and then finish them both off with a few chopped chives. Before we make Sydney eat his though, I wanna make sure they're perfect. Oh, try it.
Perfect.
And now I know how to clean my own pan. You do the eating, I'll do the cleaning today, Sydney. 3 a.m., let me give you a little preface.
Now, we all love grilled cheese. I grew up with it. That was cheese on toast. To do the ultimate grilled cheese with this is a dream come true. Beautiful. Look at that.
No. No. Nope. Gordon.
We can see that the cheese is not melted.
Whatever you do, don't make grilled cheese like Gordon. That's my best advice when it comes to making grilled cheese.
I don't make fun of Gordon often, but don't make a grilled cheese that way. I always like to make a simple homemade tomato soup. So first we go in with 2 tablespoons of butter. And once our butter's melted, we'll go in with about a half a yellow onion, thinly sliced. And once the onions are slightly translucent, in with a can of tomatoes. Those are the same ones we used for the sauce earlier today. Or yesterday. And about 3/4 cup of our chicken stock, which we've been letting go all night. That looks unbelievable. Right here is the power of just making something and letting it do all the work for you. The smell coming off this chicken stock is unbelievable. Then I'll salt to taste and leave this uncovered about 15 to 20 minutes while we make our grilled cheese. For our grilled cheese, I'm gonna go ahead and add some mayonnaise to the outer sides of each slice of bread. We're using some nice sourdough. And then go ahead and paint that all across. This right here is called a pastry brush, and it's a super helpful tool in the kitchen. It might seem weird to put mayonnaise on something like bread, but it makes things super buttery and creamy since mayonnaise is just made of egg yolks and oil. Now we'll go into a pan with about 2 tablespoons of butter and get that melted down. Then we go bread into our pan, mayonnaise side down. That combo of mayonnaise and butter is unbelievable. Then I'll go down with 2 slices of Munster, which is a really good melty cheese, great for grilled cheese, and right in between a bunch of cheddar. I'll carefully flip over the slice of bread to make a sandwich, then turn the heat down, move this to the center, and add on my lid. Once our grilled cheese starts to finish up, I have one last little trick. Move it to the side of the pan, sprinkle down some cheddar cheese about the size of your slice of bread, then flip the sandwich onto it. That right there is a grilled cheese to write home about. To me, this is the true definition of grilled cheese. Finally, to finish off that tomato soup, into a blender we go, and optionally, you can add just a splash of cream and blend it up. Into our bowl goes our soup. Oh my gosh. And like I said, the perfect grilled cheese and tomato soup. But one more time, before we eat it, take a look at that grilled cheese. Nice little dip. I think you can probably practically taste this through the screen. I feel like we should just end the video here.
Hey, Brandon the editor here. Nick let me order some buttermilk fried chicken for lunch today. Yeah, I know, it looks fantastic. I'll let you in on a little secret. You can make it even better at home, all by yourself.
One of my favorite things out there, fried chicken. We'll start with a few chicken drums. Some of those are from the chicken we butchered earlier. Then toss in a few chicken thighs, also some from the chicken we butchered earlier. And I'll then cover these in equal parts buttermilk and equal parts pickle juice. That's cold. That's not part of the video. If you've ever heard of buttermilk fried chicken, that's what it means. They're brining the chicken in buttermilk, which is this milky and acidic liquid that's gonna give the chicken some flavor, but also break the proteins down in the chicken and make it softer and more tender. And the pickle juice is a nice twist I like to do that gives a little bit of extra flavor. And we're gonna brine this for about half an hour. What time is it?
It's like 4:03.
When you fry, you typically have a wet batter and a dry batter. First, you'll put whatever you're frying in the wet batter, which usually has a flour base, and all that flour can stick to the wet batter. Then you toss it in oil, and it fries and gets that crispy golden brown outside that we all know and love. For our dry batter, 1 cup all-purpose flour, a half cup of potato starch, which is one of my secret ingredients that I talk about in my cookbook for giving extra crispy fried things, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, a tablespoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons smoked paprika, a half a tablespoon cayenne pepper, a tablespoon of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of white pepper, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons onion powder, 2 teaspoons dried oregano, and a little pinch of salt. Now whisk it all up. Now here's a fantastic little trick. If you've ever been to Popeyes and had their really crispy fried chicken, this is how they do it. Simply take a few spoonfuls of that wet batter and place it into the dry batter mixture. After a few spoonfuls, start stirring it up and watch it get a little bit clumpy. And finally, to dredge, we simply take our chicken, shake off that excess liquid, and drop it right in the dry batter. Press that chicken down into the dry batter, then flip it over and continue pressing it in there, making sure to coat every nook and cranny. Sometimes I'll even squeeze my chicken a few times to really press the batter in there. And once it begins to look somewhat shaggy like this, your chicken's all set. My oil temp is currently about 375 Fahrenheit, which I want sitting above what we want it to eventually rest at, which is 325, because when I put that cold chicken in there, the temperature's gonna drop. Whenever you're frying like this, make sure not to fill your pot too far up, and then gently lower in your chicken. The goal is perfect crispy fried chicken. Once that chicken reaches an internal temp of 165 Fahrenheit, it's ready to rest. The reason I'm placing it here on a wire resting rack is so that as they cool down, the steam can escape all around the chicken, whereas if you put it down on a flat surface, the steam is gonna collect under it and make the bottom really soggy. That right there is a perfect piece of fried chicken. By adding some of that wet batter in there, that's how we got all these nice crispy bits that are jumping all off the piece of chicken. The only thing left to do is to taste it. That right there should show you how juicy this chicken really is. Delicious. All right, it's almost 5 a.m. Time for another cameraman swap. See you later. Thank you.
Il prossimo pasto che cuciniamo è shrimp scampi, which literally translates to shrimp.
For the shrimp scampi, we're gonna use that pasta we cooked earlier, but to start, we'll peel and devein 1 pound of shrimp. To peel, you very simply flatten out the shrimp and then just peel off that shell. It should come off fairly easily. Then to take off the tail, you simply pinch the lower part of the tail and it comes right off. To devein, it's easiest if you use a small paring knife, but a chef knife will also work perfectly fine. You simply cut along the back of the shrimp, open up this flap, and remove the gray line that goes through the middle. Now into a bowl with about 4 cups of water, add 3 tablespoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Whisk it all to combine, then add in your shrimp. Cover this with plastic wrap and refrigerate for about 10 minutes. Now into a pan with 1 tablespoon of olive oil, then add in the shells, as well as the shrimp heads if you're lucky enough to purchase them with their heads on. We'll saute these for 3 to 4 minutes until they get nice and orange in color. Then we'll add in a few thyme sprigs, and then deglaze with 1.5 cups of white wine. Strain this into a medium bowl, which brings us all of that shrimpy flavor, and therefore we're not wasting all those shells. And give it 1 or 2 little presses down to make sure you really get all that juice. This right here is where one of these fine strainers comes into play. Back into the same pan over medium heat, go ahead and add 4 tablespoons of butter and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Then into that we'll add 6 cloves of minced garlic, about a half a teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes depending on how spicy you want it, a little salt, and black pepper to taste. Then stir it up until nice and fragrant. I've now strained off the water that the shrimp was poaching in, so I'll add these to the pan and stir them around for just a few minutes, adjusting the heat as necessary. When our shrimp is almost fully cooked, I'll add back in that shrimp and wine mixture, then reduce the heat to low and let that simmer for a few minutes. We've already made a cornstarch slurry once today, and here's where it comes into play once again. We want to thicken up our sauce here, and we haven't incorporated any acid yet, which we want in a seafood dish like this. So I'm going to squeeze in some lemon juice into about a half a teaspoon of cornstarch, then mix it all up until it's consistent, and dump that into our scampi. Within seconds, you should see that mixture begin to thicken up and become a bit more velvety. That cornstarch really just needs to activate and start soaking up some of that liquid. If I'm serving scampi with pasta, which many people do, I'm going to add that straight in, and this would be a great time to utilize some of that pasta water we talked about earlier. It adds a bit of flavor as well as some starchiness. Again, just to make a nicer, better sauce. We'll finish it off with some fresh parsley, which I'm just gonna tear across the whole top here. And one finishing touch, a little bit of lemon zest. Because as I said, I never like to waste the zest. I like to serve scampi with some crusty bread so that you can really sop up all those extra juices as you eat it. And honestly, I sometimes don't know what's better, the bread with the sauce or the scampi itself. Get some fresh air. Oh, it's getting light out. We've been cooking all night.
6 a.m. I don't know why anyone's making pizza at this hour, but I'm not gonna take a slice, you know? One thing about New York is you just can't pass up a good slice.
I'm sure you all remember our dough from earlier, and I can tell you right now, he got a lot more sleep than I did last night. This has been resting in the fridge for a while. It should start to have that really yeasty, developed smell to it. It is my hope that we get a flavorful, complex pizza dough here. For now, I'll flour my cutting board and lift that dough right onto the board. You can see all those nice little air pockets, and those were created from the yeast. I'll add a bit more flour across the top, and then using my bench scraper, go ahead and cut off a nice portion. We're gonna be making this pizza in a cast iron skillet. But first, I'll take my dough and begin to press it out. When you stretch out pizza dough, you wanna be nice and gentle. It should spread out rather consistently, because at any point if it gets too thin, you'll punch a hole straight through it. Once the dough is nice and flattened out, I'll go ahead and bring in my cast iron pan. Then I'll take some of that brown butter that we made earlier and paint that all around the bottom of my pan. That's gonna give us a delicious flavor and some nice golden brown bubbles on the bottom of our cast iron pizza. I'm also gonna paint this up and around the sides so that nothing sticks. At this point, I'll layer in my dough. It doesn't matter if it looks a little funky around the edges, because those will be hidden once you put all that sauce in. That's what I love about a good cast iron pizza. And then in we go with that delicious spicy tomato sauce we made earlier. I'll spread this across the bottom of my pizza. This is gonna give the pizza so much depth, so much flavor. 100 times better than going and buying a canned pizza sauce. And for caramelization, because these tomatoes have a lot of sugar, I'm actually gonna go all the way around the edge of our cast iron, wedging in a bit of this tomato sauce between the crust of the pizza and the cast iron pan. You'll see what that looks like later, but it's almost gonna be this black, dark, and charred caramelized color. It's a fantastic and easy little trick. But we're not done yet. I'll go ahead and paint the crust with some brown butter as well. You can use this or olive oil, because I feel like everyone forgets about the crust, and you can't forget about the crust. It's such a big part of the pizza, so why not make it exciting to eat? To finish, I'll first go over with some shredded mozzarella cheese, also adding this all around the edges of the pizza so that it gets golden brown and caramelizes with that tomato sauce. And I'll also work in some nice fresh pieces of mozzarella as well. And last but not least, a few pieces of basil scattered evenly across the pizza. Oh, and before I forget, I always like to add a little pinch of salt or some seasoning right around the edge on the crust. Could even be everything bagel seasoning if you want to keep it interesting. This will go into the oven at 400 to 450 Fahrenheit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Here we go. You can finish your cast iron pizza with some fresh basil, and as you can see, it's got these beautifully caramelized edges, which are gonna be nice and crispy, and a nice golden brown bottom. We'll take a nice slice, and as you can see, we got a beautiful airy and light crust, and a nice cheesy golden pizza. The only thing missing from this slice, some pineapple. That pizza is so good. This right here is gonna be my second slice. I'm eating the whole thing.
Niece and nephew, everyone needs to know how to make egg fried rice. And Uncle Nick is one of the few people who Uncle Roger trusts to teach you how to make it. Show them, Uncle Nick. Show them.
It is now 7 a.m. A fried rice is simple, and just like a stir fry, you don't necessarily need a wok, but since I have one, we're gonna use it. To start, I'll go in with some pork fat. Once the oil's nice and hot, in we go with a few eggs. Then essentially begin making scrambled eggs. And then on this side of the pan, I'll add some garlic, and I'll season it with a bit of white pepper. Then saute that up a little bit as well. I'm sort of doing this all as I go, and the great thing about fried rice is that it gives you a lot of freedom to cook in whatever way you'd like. It's one of those dishes that often uses up a lot of leftovers, just like a stir fry, but then becomes a fantastic dish on its own. Once our egg is cooked, I have here some cold, dry leftover rice. The reason we like to use leftover rice is because it gets a little bit drier and crumblier, which is a bit better for fried rice. You don't want anything too soft and fluffy. I'm not really giving you specific amounts for this, because you should really be eyeballing things as you go. Optionally, now is when you could add a little bit of MSG, which a lot of people do. And at this point, we'll add the soy sauce, which traditionally you add to the edge of the pan so it sizzles as it falls down. That's gonna give us all of our salt content in our fried rice. Hence why we haven't added any salt yet. If you're adding a protein like chicken, shrimp, pork, whatever, oftentimes you'll cook that at first, then set it aside and make the fried rice as I just showed you and add it in now. But we have some leftover shrimp from our shrimp scampi. For flavor, I'm also gonna add in a drizzle of sesame oil, finish off the fried rice with fresh scallions or green onions, and just like that, we've made a simple, easy shrimp fried rice. For a while, I was powering through and I wasn't that tired, and I just hit a wall.
Whether it's Taco Tuesday or you're just craving some good tacos, you should know how to make good taco spread. It's simple, fresh, and delicious.
I need it now.
Get up. We're making fish tacos. Get up.
We're gonna start by making a simple crema for our fish tacos, basically just a flavored sour cream. So the base will be sour cream. Oh, that sounded bad. Then follow this with a little bit of mayonnaise, and you'll see at this point that I'm really not giving full ingredients as much anymore, because this is when I really want you to just start cooking with your gut, using whatever amounts of the ingredients in proportions that correspond to how much you like those ingredients. I'll go in now with a few dashes of hot sauce, a nice squeeze of lime juice, a touch of garlic powder, and really any other spices or seasonings you want. Mix this all together and set it aside. For fish tacos, you typically want to use a nice white fish, and here I have tilapia. To start, I'll slice them both down the middle, one of the reasons being the fact that this piece here is a lot thinner and will cook a lot faster than this thicker piece here. And in addition, this is a more reasonable size that you put in a taco. To season them, I'll go over with some cumin, then some cayenne pepper, and to finish, just a little bit of salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. And make sure to hit all sides of both pieces of fish. To cook the fish, I want that butter flavor with this one, but I also want to cook it high enough that I get a nice crust on the fish. So that's when I'm going to use some ghee. It's that clarified butter we talked about that doesn't have any of those milk solids that'll burn on us. Once the butter's nice and hot, in goes our fish. And we haven't talked much yet about overcrowding a pan, but this is where it can come into play. Especially if you're trying to get something nice and crispy, there's got to be ample space between every piece so that the steam can escape. Once you begin to see the fish change color around the edges, you can go ahead and start flipping. And as you can see, we have a beautiful, nice golden brown color to this piece already. And I flipped this one first because it's a lot thinner, and like I said, will cook faster. I'll flip this piece next since that's the first piece of fish I put down and it's been cooking the longest. And finally, I'll go to this one here. I'm using a non-stick pan here, but something like this would be rather difficult in a stainless steel pan. Because we're cooking the fish for such a short amount of time, it would probably stick. If you're just learning to cook, one of the best ways to know if your fish is done is just to take one of the pieces as a tester and go ahead and open it up with a fork to see if it's flaky quite yet. I love purple cabbage with fish tacos, or any tacos for that matter. To assemble our tacos, I'll slice up some avocado. This is definitely the most satisfying way to do it. Then into a warm corn tortilla, I'll add some purple cabbage, then a piece of fish, some of our avocado, some thinly sliced red onion, a little squeeze of fresh lime juice, a nice dollop of our crema, and then finish with just a bit of cilantro and some cotija cheese. And that right there is a simple, perfect fish taco. I'm glad you stopped me from taking that nap just now. What time is it again?
About 9.
Fish tacos are a good breakfast.
Creamy Tuscan chicken is undeniably tasty, and it's something everyone should know how to make.
We're almost all the way through the challenge, and I hope you've learned something. But either way, you're gonna wanna stick around for this creamy Tuscan chicken. To start, 1 tablespoon of butter, followed by 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then in go our 2 seasoned chicken breasts, which are gonna cook for a couple minutes on each side. After they've cooked about 3 to 5 minutes per side, go ahead and flip. They should be nice and golden brown. Transfer the chicken to a cutting board, then into the same pan with 8 ounces of brown mushrooms, and saute those about 5 minutes or until nice and cooked through. Then we'll go in with a 1/4 cup of chopped sun-dried tomatoes, my least favorite food, along with a 1/4 cup of chopped green onions, and then in with 3 cloves of minced garlic. And once the garlic becomes fragrant, add in 1½ cups of heavy cream. Bring it down to a light boil and add in 1/2 cup grated Parmesan cheese, then stir that in until well combined, then add 2 cups of baby spinach until wilted. Then to finish, add back the chicken and let that sit at a low simmer until the chicken is cooked through. Finish it off with a few chives and your Tuscan chicken is done. Might be the best thing we made all day. Our final savory dish of the day is gonna be a special treat here. When you talk about cooking, there's savory and sweet. Sweets are basically desserts, and savory is anything that's not sweet. We're gonna be making a lobster roll, but there's one problem. I don't yet have any lobsters. And I'm waiting on a special guest, and I'm not quite sure he's gonna make it today because the weather outside is
Hey, it was nasty out there. Did we make it on time today? Hey, it's Captain Kurt here from up in Maine. This lesson will be lobster rolls.
But more generally, I want you to take from one of these last lessons here something very simple but extremely important in food. And that's to get high quality ingredients and know exactly where your food comes from. If you understand where your food comes from, you're gonna get much, much higher quality ingredients. And at the end of the day, you'll just be eating better food.
Happy cooking.
This guy's grabbing onto me. He likes me.
Take the bands off, it gets even more interesting.
Well, we got the lobsters in time after all. And given I'm from New England, I actually think it's a fun thing to teach people and a great thing for people to understand and learn. The first thing a lot of people do say to do is crack straight through the lobster's head, right between the eyes, which will kill it instantly and hopefully not give the lobster any pain when you go to cook it. Now we want to steam our lobster, so in it goes, and we'll cover it with a lid. Based on the size of the lobster, the timing will vary, but I've cooked enough lobsters now to be able to eyeball it when it's done. Typically, I steam it between 12 and 15 minutes. While our lobster steams, we're gonna work on the bun. I like to do mine slightly differently than most people. First, I chop off each end, and then I slice down the sides. This will all make sense in just a minute. Then, simply slice down the middle to make a nice little spot to put our lobster later. I'm gonna paint down the sides once again with mayonnaise, the same thing we did with the grilled cheese, and place it onto a hot pan. Toast that until it's golden brown on one side, then flip and do the same on the other. Once our lobster's finished steaming, we're gonna place it down on the cutting board, and at this point, you may wanna hit it with a rinse of cold water because it's gonna be quite hot, and you don't want it to overcook. When it comes to removing the lobster meat, I'll first peel off the tail, then flatten out the tail, insert an upside down fork into the bottom, and leverage it out. To make sure you're not wasting any meat, you can also pull off all these individual pieces at the end of the tail. Next, we'll break off the claws, and I start each one by cracking off the smaller piece, then breaking through all the joints, and eventually your claw should slip right out. That's a perfect, cute lobster claw. And it's always satisfying when you get it out in one piece. Make sure to get lobster out of all the joints as well, because these little nuggets of meat are some of the best you'll taste. Repeat the same thing on the other side. You can also find little morsels of meat in the head and eat the meat out of these little claws here. For the head, I'll crack it right off. Then I'll put my thumbs through the middle of the carcass and crack it open. And in here is loads of meat. I'm gonna finish this very simply with just a bit of mayonnaise and a very light squeeze of lemon. Sometimes I like to add just a pinch of salt too. This is a fantastic example of letting the ingredients speak for themselves. Captain Kurt literally caught this lobster hours ago, right around the time we were cooking our shrimp scampi earlier this morning. And now, here it is, fresh and going straight into our lobster roll. It doesn't get any better than this. I'll finish this with a light dusting of chives, and our lobster roll is complete. Oh man.
Nick, can I have a bite?
No. You can buy the cookbook and make the one that's in there. I did make a slightly simplified version today, but this is what you're looking at if you get the book.
Nick!
Nick! You are almost done with the 24-hour challenge, and there is no better way to finish it off than with a warm plate of cookies. And when it comes to cookies, I know you're just like me. You don't mess around.
I probably shouldn't be leaking this cookie recipe out of my book here, but it's honestly so good that I figure why not just share it with everybody no matter what. You probably remember our brown butter from earlier, and I made some more in this pan to really show you what it looks like. Here we have 2 sticks of brown butter, which is exactly 1 cup. As I heat up the edges, we'll be able to loosen it up. We're using 2 sticks or 1 cup of cold brown butter. What I should have right here is a giant disc of beautifully golden brown butter. Then 1 cup of brown sugar, a ½ cup of granulated white sugar, and 1 teaspoon of homemade vanilla extract. You gotta make your own vanilla extract. Charles here just turned 2 years old. Then cream the butters and sugars together for about 4 minutes. Once the sugars are lighter in color like this, we'll let it continue mixing and crack in 2 eggs, 1 at a time, and 1 additional yolk. Then I'll go in with 1½ cups of cake flour, which you can easily make at home if you don't have it, 1½ cups of regular flour, a teaspoon of cornstarch, 3/4 teaspoon baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoon salt. Once again, mix it until combined. Then, by hand, crush in 8 ounces of milk chocolate. The reason I do this instead of chocolate chips at first is to get varying pieces of chocolate sticking in and out of the cookies. Once again, just really thinking about texture as I cook. Next is 1/2 cup of bittersweet chocolate chips. This gives a little bit of a richer flavor in your cookies. And last but not least, about 2 cups of chopped walnuts. You can do more or less if you'd like. Mix this all together until just combined. This makes about 8 large cookies, and they don't spread very much. The goal of these cookies is to keep them nice and tall, based on your preferences for how gooey you want them and all the differences between every oven. These go in the oven for about 8 to 12 minutes at 415 Fahrenheit. The cookies are complete, and as you can tell, they didn't spread all that much. They almost sort of look like scones. As we finish up this 24-hour cooking challenge, I really wanted to finish things off on a sweet note with these. Now that we're approaching 12 p.m., a full 24 hours after we started this video and challenge, I've never been happier to open up a good-looking cookie. As you can see, I've gone for gooey on the inside and nice and cooked on the outside, hence the very specific oven temperature of 415 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna go ahead and open up just a few more of these bad boys, because it never gets old. That right there is exactly why I do the chocolate the way that I do it. The inside of each cookie that we break open is gonna be completely different. I've worked so hard for this bite of cookie. It was so worth it. We finished the cookies. We just made it 24 hours straight of cooking, but perhaps more importantly, I hope you learned something. I'm gonna quickly finish with some Spark Notes, a really quick summary of what we learned today so you can take it away and it'll be fresh in your mind. And especially if you made it this far, great job. I know you didn't have to actually sit through the full 24 hours, but it was still a lot to get through. We nailed all the basics today, talking about equipment, ingredients, and knife skills. Just remember, learn the pinch grip and use the claw with your fingers when you cut. We did a few basic but necessary techniques such as making brown butter or even learning how to cook an egg. Finally, in the wee hours of the morning, we brought together all of those techniques and made a wide variety of dishes that I hope taught you something and are also recipes that you can easily take home and replicate. They're all some of my favorites. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want us to do the 100-hour cooking challenge. We could do something like this, but for 4 days straight, all boiled down into one fun and exciting video. And don't forget, to somebody random anywhere in the world who orders the cookbook from the link in the description below, you will get this signed book and one of my favorite chef's knives. This one right here. Chef's knives really don't get much cooler than this. And for all my US fans, Barnes & Noble is gonna carry an exclusive signed edition, but it is very limited, so grab your copy while you can. For everybody else, don't worry, because there'll be more opportunities to get a signed book. I'm going on a book tour next year and we'll be doing a variety of book signing events. And I just might be coming to a city near you. Go DM me the word cook on Instagram to stay in the loop. Bye, I'm gonna go to bed.
Hey, I'm ready for my shift.
Hey, I actually like the new guys better, so you're all set. You can go back to bed. Yeah, you're all set. Video, I'm trying the most popular school lunches in the world, and while some were delicious,
That was one of the best bites I've ever had in my life.
others were not so good. I can't tell what looks worse, us or the food. And we're starting in North America with the United States, where the typical school lunch is dino nuggets, mashed potatoes, fresh fruit and vegetables, and chocolate milk.
I remember eating this exact school lunch as a kid.
Something very classic with American school lunches is that they like to turn things into fun shapes, like making chicken nuggets into the shape of dinosaurs.
It just makes them taste better.
Go ahead, do the honors.
Obviously, starting with T-Rex.
I'm gonna go with the Stegosaurus. Little dip in the mashed potatoes.
That's a wild move. That brings me back.
So good, so unhealthy. In fact, school lunch in the US is so unhealthy that a slice of pizza counts as your serving of vegetables because of the tomato sauce.
That's really bad.
This is an important thing now, Max. Opening the chocolate milk. The key is really that you gotta peel all the way back first, and then boom, just like that. I'll feed you.
That is actually incredible.
There's just nothing like getting off the playground, being all sweaty and eating dino nuggets with chocolate milk. One more thing with American school lunches is that oftentimes parents will write you a little note in your lunchbox. So I got both of our moms to write us a note.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
Is it actually my mom?
It is really your mom.
No way.
My note says, have a great day. I hope you get to play with Max during recess. Love, Mom.
Hi, sweetie. Enjoy your blueberries. Wait, what?
Shouldn't even give you any blueberries.
Let's read more Harry Potter tonight. Love, Mom, smiley face. How did you get a hold of my mom?
For every school lunch in this video, we're also gonna give it a ranking on a tier list. So for the United States, delicious food, but a bit too unhealthy. I think it's fair to put it in C tier. And now let's move to Canada, where we'll have pizza, carrot sticks, an ice cream cup, and apple juice. The cool thing is, Fridays in Canadian schools are pizza day. All the kids wait all week for pizza day.
To be fair, I would too.
Look at the mini pepperonis. Yeah. Look how cute they are.
Decent bottom crust though. I'm feeling good about this.
Not bad.
Look at the thickness of the bread.
The crust is sweet.
It's so incredibly bad that it's good.
Carrot sticks. I feel like you need something to dip them in, but I've never been one to turn down a good carrot stick. Of everything on this platter though, the thing I love most is the ice cream cup.
That is a blast from the past. It is so distinctive, that fluffiness.
It makes me want to melt, Max. But what's so amazing is the wooden stick that comes with it. If you actually take the wooden stick and you kind of suck the air out of it, you taste that wooden flavor.
Wow, ooh, I'm getting it.
Last thing, juice box. These straws were always annoying.
Extremely.
They're just not strong enough. Look at this, it's already smushed. I can't get it in. There it is.
Actually, that's pretty good.
I don't know if any of you used to do this as a kid, but once you finish a juice box, you blow it up again, and then you put it down and stomp on it.
Whoa! Oh. I think it's fair to say Canada school lunch gets a C tier. C for Canada.
And that brings us to Mexico, where we'll have a ham and cheese torta, tahini cucumbers, carrot sticks, mayonnaise packets, and agua fresca. One thing about school lunch in Mexico is that lots of students go home to eat with their families, but when they do eat at school, it looks something like this.
It looks very healthy.
I want to start with the tahini cucumbers. They look so crunchy and well seasoned.
What am I experiencing right now?
They love tahini and chamoy so much in Mexico that kids will actually have keychains on their backpacks like this. If you want a little more tahini on your cucumber, just pop it open.
Don't mind if I do. That's okay, that's gonna be excessive here. Ooh, que rico.
A torta is just a Mexican sandwich, essentially. You can put a variety of different things inside it, but as you can see with this one, we've got all sorts of fresh fruits, vegetables, quick, simple, on-the-go lunch.
We were missing out growing up. That right there is a school lunch.
Super flavorful, super fresh.
10 times better than anything else we've had today. It's even common to add on a little bit of mayo.
And the best part is washing it down with some agua fresca, which is fruit-infused water. Let's see. It's basically just like a cold tea. In the heat that you probably have on a playground in Mexico, this must be extremely refreshing.
This would hit the spot.
We're gonna put Mexican school lunch in B tier and move on now to Jamaica, where a typical school lunch is fried chicken, peas and rice, mac and cheese, plantains, a side of fruit, and fruit punch.
We are really leveling up here.
Yeah, this looks unbelievable. Even this, look at this thing. I say we divide and conquer.
I feel like I gotta do mac and cheese on the chicken. School lunch or not, that was one of the best bites I've ever had in my life. Put some mac and cheese on there. They just pair so well together.
Oftentimes, kids will take their mound of rice and they'll take some of this Jamaican gravy and they'll make a little volcano. While you eat that, I'm gonna set up the drink. I love the way they serve the drink in a little pouch like that.
And everybody knows that blue tastes better.
If I had this lunch every single day, I would be a very happy student.
Jamaican me crazy with this school lunch. It's getting an A tier.
And now that we've finished in North America, we'll move on to South America, where we'll start with Brazil to have rice and beans, ground beef, a side salad, jello, and cashew juice.
This looks amazing.
Hold on. In Brazil, everybody needs to scan their ID card before they eat. I made this both a Brazilian student ID, just in case we ever go back to school in Brazil.
This is hilarious. Why do I look way more handsome than you?
Before either of us eats, I'm gonna scan these. Max, yours isn't scanning.
The principal called my mom. Everything's fine.
Sorry, Max. You can't eat lunch today. Mine's scanned. I'm good.
What?
All right, where do I begin? Maybe a little bit of the beans and rice. Looks like there's some bacon in there. Wow. This rice has been cooked to perfection in bacon and bacon fat. And when you pair that with the ground beef, It is unbelievably good. Everything tastes so incredibly fresh. And part of the reason is because it's the law in Brazil that lunch must be cooked fresh every day, and 1/3 of it needs to come from nearby farms. That makes the food even better. I'm so happy I paid my lunch bill for this one because this is good. I've never had cashew juice before.
Let me guess, it tastes amazing.
It's fruity, but at the same time, it's naturally really creamy. It's really good. Last stop here, Jell-O soccer ball. Look at that thing. I feel bad. I feel bad. I'd ask Max what rank he thinks we should give this, but he's not gonna be any help, so we're gonna put Brazilian school lunch in A tier. That rice was too good. And now let's move to Argentina, where we've got chicken milanesa with salad, white rice, bread, fresh lemon, mayonnaise, and pineapple juice. Milanesa is this fried and breaded chicken here, and Argentinian people love it so much that they have a national holiday called National Milanesa Day.
It looks like something you'd order at a restaurant.
Every milanesa comes with fresh lemon, and it is never eaten without a huge squeeze of lemon over the top. Hear that crunch?
Crunch.
A lot of students also love adding mayonnaise to their milanesa, so we're gonna try the same.
It's a lot of mayo there, Nick. Creaminess from the mayo and the acidity from that lemon, so good.
Another thing I love here is they put some butter on the rice. There's really nothing like simple buttered white rice. This for me is closest to what I would want to have at school lunch every single day. You've got carbs, you've got protein, you've got healthy, fresh greens, and even this really delicious looking juice box. One of the best juice box sips I've ever had.
What?
I might start buying these just to have.
Argentina school lunch, we're going with A tier.
And now on to Colombia, where we've got arroz con pollo, vegetable soup, plantains, hot sauce, and passion fruit juice. What do you think?
I mean, it looks stunning.
Lunch is the biggest and most important meal of the day in Colombia, so this is a big deal right here. Apparently, we're supposed to eat the soup first. Not my favorite, but it's good.
There's something in there that's very unique.
The corn is really sweet and tender.
That's actually a game changer.
Let's add a little ají to our rice here, spice things up a little. I love the ají on there.
Ooh, a little kick at the end though.
The plantains here are said to be so sweet that the kids actually call them banana candy. So it's almost like a dessert.
Nice crisp on the outside, but kind of dense and chewy.
Of all we see here for a Colombian school lunch, my eyes are drawn to the bagged passion fruit juice.
How do we approach that?
I honestly think we just toss 2 straws in there and just go for it.
This feels dangerous. Wow, it's almost creamy.
That tastes like somebody juiced it 5 minutes ago. We're gonna give Colombian school lunch a solid B tier.
I'd call it a B+.
And with that, we finished in South America and are moving on to Europe, where we'll start in France to eat a multi-course school lunch that includes a salad, some roast chicken and vegetables, a bread and cheese plate, some fruit for dessert, and water. France takes their school lunch very seriously. In fact, students get between 1 and 1.5 hours just for lunch.
Wow.
First course is a shredded carrot salad. This is so fancy.
Almost too fancy.
Really fresh.
10 times healthier than any school lunch I've ever had in America.
And the rules, by the way, for school lunch in France are very strict. No soda, no candy, no vending machines on campus at all. All the food is cooked from scratch by chefs, and no more than 4 times a month can you have any fried food.
That is impressive.
The second course is roast chicken with vegetables.
It's simple, but it looks like French food.
Let's check the crispy skin. The chicken is incredibly well cooked.
Crispy skin, juicy meat.
Craziest part is you get one of these fancy napkins that you'd get in a nice French restaurant. We didn't even talk about the fact that this is served on an actual plate.
I noticed that we've stayed clear of the broccoli. Open up.
Oh, no. I thought you were gonna have it.
You said yummy.
No.
Well, but just not quite exciting enough. France school lunch is getting B tier.
Continuing on to Italy, a typical school lunch is chicken al forno, tomato pasta, salad, and a water.
Mamma mia! This looks like real food. Start here with that chicken al forno.
I'm gonna have a little bit of this tomato pasta.
It's like a perfect roast chicken.
Italian schools always use olive oil instead of butter. I'm going to open it up and drizzle it across our salad if you're okay with that, Max. It's so fancy for a school lunch to have fresh olive oil.
It really adds to it.
And then you see how we have those little tomato bits left at the bottom there? You then just take your fresh bread, and then you're meant to use it as a mop to make sure you get every last bit of that sauce so that your plate is completely clean. Did you already have some water? Was it good?
I had a little bit, yeah.
Did it taste like Italian water?
It tasted exactly like water.
Oh, whoa, did you see how it sprayed out? We gotta see that in slow motion. Italian school lunch was just slightly above average, so we'll go with B tier and move on to Spain, where lunch is served in a 3-course meal that includes soup and rice, fish and salad, and a small dessert. Course number 1, soup and rice.
I usually hate soup. That is one of the best soups I've ever had.
Let's go to course number 2.
What?
You want more?
It's just so good.
For course number 2, we've got fish and a side salad. Fish in Spanish schools is served at least 2 to 3 times a week. They love fish.
Really? Cafeteria is definitely pungent.
It's a little bit of a sad piece of fish. I would have liked some better presentation here. It tastes a lot better than it looks. And then side salad. Who doesn't love a side salad?
Me. Very healthy. I feel like as a young kid, though, I would not be pumped about this. Max at 12 years old, this over pizza, we're going pizza all day.
Now course number 3, the dessert. We've got flan. Do you like flan?
I love a good flan.
I don't like flan.
Really?
Look at it. It's like Jell-O, but worse. Ugh.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Before we give our tier ranking, there's one more thing. In Spain, they care so much about what the students think of the food that they actually, at one school, used emojis to let the students rate the meals. So why don't you hold up the 1 or 2 that come to mind? I'll do the same.
I don't know about the first 2 dishes, but that dessert, I'm in love.
I'm gonna go with 2. I've got the confused emoji. I've also got the fire emoji. I don't understand why they paired that rice with that soup, but the overall experience was fire.
Spain school lunch is getting B tier.
And this brings us to the United Kingdom, where students get fish fingers, baked beans, chips, a bread roll, and grape juice. There's a reason my tray looks better than Max's here, and that's because in the United Kingdom, better behaved students can earn golden table privileges, which come with shiny gold tableware and the perk of being served before everyone else.
That's not fair.
You should have behaved. Max, I'm gonna show you a little lunch hack that some students do. You take a roll of bread and you cut that roll of bread open, and then you stack on some of these nice crispy fish fingers, then French fries.
Chips, as they say.
And last but not least, I'll put some of those Heinz baked beans over the top. This is a UK lunch hack called a fish finger sandwich.
You can enjoy your fancy sandwich, your gold, this, that, the other thing. I'm gonna eat them like a normal person.
It also tastes better with the gold tray and the gold plate and the gold placemat.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Wash it down with a little grape juice. I love how fancy my lunch is. Look how much more fun I'm having than Max. You want a bite of my sandwich?
Sure.
Psych.
That's called bullying, all right?
I love this lunch. I'd give it a B tier.
Honestly, I think it's an F.
He's only saying that because he didn't have a gold plate.
I'll meet you at D.
Fine, the UK school lunch gets D tier. And we'll move now to Sweden, which serves meatballs, boiled potatoes, crisp bread, lingonberry jam, and whole milk. Before we eat, Sweden is famous for having its teachers come in and sit with the students to teach proper posture, proper eating habits. So I invited my old history teacher to come in and just watch over us while we eat.
How are you?
How are you? What's going on, Mr. Petherick?
How's it going? Very nice to meet you, Max. I'm a little nervous now. We got a teacher here.
Yeah. With that, Max, dive in.
You already know I'm going for the meatballs.
I'm gonna go for one of these.
Nice use of the fork, Nick.
Uh-oh, is that detention?
I'm gonna dip it in the jam. This jam, lingonberry jam, it's a little bit less tart than cranberries, but they put it on everything. So you can put it on this crisp bread, you can put it on your meatballs, your potatoes. It's delicious with everything.
I might do them all together.
Be careful with the spillage there.
Okay, my bad, sorry. I'm making a mess.
Show Max how it's done, by the way.
Fork,
okay.
Right into the jam.
All right.
Yep, no spillage.
No spillage.
See that? Max, go ahead and try again. A little bit more polite this time. I'm gonna get some jam.
Maintain that posture.
Straight up?
Straight up.
Got it. It's always good to sit up straight while you're eating, that's true. You gotta try this, Max.
No talking with your mouth full.
Yep, I forgot.
The one time there's a teacher here watching, I can't get it together.
I'm a huge fan of the school lunch in Sweden so far. It's simple, and I love the jam.
It really ties it all together.
It's delicious. Mr. Petherick, you got a final grade for our behavior during this lunch here?
Yeah, a solid B+, you know, improvements could always be made.
I feel like I brought down our grade, but I'll take B+.
All right, and now that you've graded us, every school lunch is gonna get a ranking on a tier list, so you wanna help us give this one the ranking?
Sure, we're gonna give Sweden a B tier ranking. Max, come over here for a minute. You did a good job today, but you just gotta keep working on your manners. If it happens again, you're spilling stuff on yourself, I'm gonna have to talk to your mom.
Moving on to Finland, we've got pea soup, rye bread, carrot and tomato salad, orange kiseli, and skim milk. In Finland, they eat in complete silence for the first 10 minutes to encourage mindful eating. So we're gonna do exactly that. Okay, we can talk now. We did some damage, huh?
I wish the food tasted better.
Finland is famous for offering free school lunch to every single student. And every single Thursday is pea soup day across all sorts of places in Finland. Hospitals, schools, the military. That's why we have pea soup.
I know exactly what day I'd be skipping school.
I actually happen to disagree. I like the pea soup. I think it's seasoned super, super well. But I know you're thinking F tier, so I'll settle with you at D tier. And that brings us to Germany for some chicken schnitzel, mashed potatoes, peas, and water. Wow, I can't tell what looks worse. worse, us or the food? Oh boy. What do you guys think? I think it's probably me and Max. How about this? Subscribe if you think we look worse, and like the video if you think the food looks worse. Before we eat, I think it's good to let you know that the students in Germany call this food Flugzeugessen, which means airplane food, because it's really bland, comes on a tray, and it always tastes the same.
I'm feeling optimistic.
The schnitzel does look pretty good. I don't know, Max.
I'm gonna be honest, it's a little dry.
It's dry with no seasoning.
Let me help you out with that, Nick.
If there's anything that can help German school lunch, it is Osmo.
I'm not just saying this because I like Osmo. 10 times better.
Let's try some peas. Here comes the airplane.
Tastes absolutely horrible.
This is mean to feed kids this. I know we're not through every country yet, but this might be the most boring school lunch in the world.
It's gotta go F tier.
Couldn't agree more. We're moving on to Russia to have chicken cutlet, beet salad, beet soup, and tea. In some Russian towns, grandmothers come to serve the food, so I brought in a Russian grandmother to serve this one for us.
What is that?
I should explain, Max, she doesn't speak any English, so she has absolutely no idea what you're saying.
Who's this?
О, какой замечательный чай. Чай.
Chai.
Ура!
I think
It's hot. Be hot.
Не надо пить. О, как вкусно. Very good, very good.
There you go.
Да.
Okay.
О, ура, вкусно.
Max, do you want to start trying the chicken cutlet? I think she's gonna cut it for us.
Good.
О, какой хороший мальчик.
I'm gonna try this soup, Max.
Ну, считается русская кухня.
Try it, yeah.
Interesting.
Не знаю, что такое.
No, a fun fact about Russian school lunch is that it's actually called obiet, which means dinner because this is the main hot meal of the day. And then in Russian tradition, you always have tea.
Очень вкусно.
Очень вкусно, very good, да.
I would say the food here was a bit basic, but the experience was incredible. So we'll go with a nice even C tier. And now with Europe done, we'll move on to Africa, where we'll start in Morocco with a vegetable couscous, tomato cucumber salad, fresh figs, and mint tea.
Just got one thought. Where's the meat, Nick?
Not everything needs meat, Maximus.
Crazy flavor profile.
Unreal.
A depth of flavor you wouldn't expect.
You see, not everything actually needs meat. I can tell this is gonna be filling.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
The other thing I noticed right away, these fresh cucumbers and tomatoes.
Summing up this meal with one word, it's just fresh.
Even that fresh chopped parsley on the vegetables elevates this school lunch to a whole new level.
What's going on here, Nick?
Morocco is incredibly famous for its tea. And I'm not sure if you've seen this in videos, but in Moroccan tea culture, the higher the pour, the better the foam. People in Morocco are so good at pouring the tea from high up that kids will actually learn this and practice this at home because it's a real skill to have. You know I'm competitive, Max, so we're gonna do a little challenge. Who can pour from higher without spilling? I feel like we're not gonna be able to agree who does better on this, so we're gonna let you decide. Comment down below who does a better job with this right now. Not bad. Create that foam, Max. No spillage. Oh!
Ah! Nobody saw that.
Wow. Oh!
Pretty good. Here's a look at my spillage, and now, Nick, you're up.
Here we go. Not even close. Here's a look at my results and my spillage. Comment below, we need to know who you think won.
As for the rating, Morocco's school lunch is getting a B tier.
Moving on to Nigeria, a typical school lunch is jollof rice, steamed vegetables, stewed chicken, and chivita juice. Jollof rice is one of the most popular dishes in all of West Africa, and I am very excited to try it.
It smells insane. You have to try that.
Is it amazing?
So good. So flavorful.
It's the perfect amount of spice. Watch when I break this chicken too, it is fall apart tender. Go ahead. Amazing.
Insanity.
It's a little bit like an Indian curried chicken. This chicken, by the way, is so popular in West Africa that kids call it party chicken because it's served at parties. People love it that much. And speaking of parties, a lot of schools actually have a dance party with music during lunchtime, so we're gonna do exactly that. Not gonna lie, Max, I think Nigeria deserves our very first S tier.
Well deserved.
Next up is Ethiopia, where a typical school lunch is injera with lentils, stew, cooked vegetables, and mango juice. Visually, what do we think?
Looks like a sponge.
Yes, this is a spongy fermented flatbread. It's traditional in Ethiopia for kids to eat off the same tray, so what we can do is just tear the injera. It smells really good.
It's almost like sourdough.
I almost don't want to eat it. I just want to play with it. What we do here is we use our right hand to dip it into the stew, soak up some of the juice in there, and then you eat. Amazing. Those soft chickpeas, the seasoning in there. That's one of the best bites of food I've had in a while. I didn't tell Max this yet, but traditionally in Ethiopia, people will give each other what's called a gursha, which is a bite fed by hand, and it's a sign of love or friendship. So Max, please open up.
Wait, do you love me or you're my friend?
He licked my fingers a little bit, that's okay. I'm gonna start going around asking all my friends for a gursha. The lentils too look expertly cooked.
If those lentils taste good, this might be S tier.
They're all right.
They're all right. I still think it might be S tier.
I think the same exact thing.
I'm just gonna say it. Ethiopia school lunch, that is an easy S tier.
Moving on to South Africa, we have pup and beans, a polony sandwich, and cereals juice. Right away, the pup here almost looks like a circular chicken breast.
It looks like a half onion to me or something.
This right here is a thick corn porridge, and we're gonna eat it in the traditional style with our hands. We grab some of the pup, and you kind of mush it together, okay, like this. Hold that with your 4 fingers, and then you wanna go onto the beans, and you use your thumb to kind of smush the beans into it. And we've got a beautiful bite right there of pup and beans. Then in you go. The flavor combination is so unique. It's a little bit earthy. It's almost like a little bit grainy, but then there's a bit of a sweet corn flavor. The great thing is you can wash it down with some cereals juice. It's a really popular South African brand.
Almost like a pineapple flavor.
Polony sandwich. We would call it bologna. Yep. They call it polony. I always like bologna.
There's something about it. It's not premium per se, but it's so good.
These might not be my favorite flavors of anything we've had, but in ranking this one, I'm gonna give a lot of extra points for the experience of eating it. We'll put South African school lunch right in the middle at C tier. Next up is Egypt, where we'll have full medemes, baladi bread, carrots, and sugarcane juice. Commonly in Egypt, students actually go out and buy their lunch from street vendors because there's all sorts of amazing street food in Egypt. And what they most often buy is this thing right here called full medemes.
It's slow-cooked fava beans that are seasoned with lemon juice, olive oil, and different seasonings.
And this here is baladi bread, or Egypt's version of pita. We'll open this up and then take some of those stewed fava beans to make a pita pocket.
There's no beef in here, no meat, it's just beans.
Just beans.
It's a little bitter.
I'm falling somewhere right in the middle here. Before we make any judgments, let's try the sugarcane juice. Kids will normally go to street stands for this as well and get that amazing fresh pressed sugarcane juice. I personally love sugarcane juice. This is not quite there since it's canned, but it's still very good. One other thing, in Egyptian street food culture, the vendors will often hand the kids a free pickle or olive. So I've got one in each hand. Make your choice. Boom. That means I got the olive. Makes it a little more fun. On the one hand, I love that kids are going out and getting their food from street vendors. That's such a cool thing to do.
It's like a little mini field trip throughout the day.
But on the other hand, I just wish it was a little bit more exciting.
Not my favorite. Egypt school lunch, we're going with D tier.
And that means we finished with Africa. So now let's head to Asia with our first stop being Japan, where students get chicken katsu curry, rice, miso soup, and fresh milk. For this section, Max is dressed up as one of the students from the lunch team. Because there are no janitors in Japanese schools, the students take turns serving food, cleaning up, and wiping down trays, meaning that the entire school lunch is run by students like Max. They also don't eat in a cafeteria. Instead, students are served at their desks in the classroom, so we're gonna do the same. Thank you. Oh, and before I eat, most kids bring their own chopsticks in cute cases like this. It's a total flex to have cool ones like mine. Max, what'd you bring?
Only my favorite chopsticks.
Hello Kitty?
Mine totally got mixed up with someone else's.
This chicken katsu curry is one of the best things we've seen all day, and I'm not surprised. Listen to this. And now the best part, I get to wash it down with some fresh Japanese milk. This might be the creamiest milk I've ever had. I'm putting Japanese school lunch right up in A tier. Next is South Korea, where we'll have pork bulgogi with doenjang jjigae soup, rice, seaweed sheets, kimchi, bean sprouts, and strawberry milk.
This is what I'm talking about. So many side dishes, but the South Koreans also nail the meat.
When I think of South Korean food, I think of these massive spreads of food where you can pick from all these different dishes, and this school lunch looks like exactly that. So I'm gonna take a seaweed sheet here.
A little pork on there, you need some kimchi. A little rice on there.
Thank you. A few bean sprouts. I'm gonna go for this one in one bite. Boom. I get sweet, I get salty, I get sour, I get crispy, I get everything. I'm gonna open up the strawberry milk here.
Good?
Yeah. The soup is always served piping hot. Sometimes the kids will stir in a little bit of rice to try to cool it down. But we'd also be expected to finish all this food because South Korean schools are very serious about food waste. They have the most high-tech school lunch system in the world and use AI scanners to track the food waste every single day.
My plate would be cleared every time. South Korea school lunch is getting S tier.
That's a hard one to beat. We're moving on to India, where we have vegetable sabzi, aloo paratha, roti, achar, and mango juice. India serves 100 million children school lunch every single day. And traditionally, it's served in what's called a tiffin.
That is the coolest looking lunchbox I've ever seen.
The problem is I have no idea how to open it. Here, let's just
I'll take the base.
mess around. Oh.
Wow, hey.
1,
2,
3, 4. Kids will bring their own pickled vegetables that their parents made, and everyone likes to trade with each other to see what other people's pickles taste like.
I'll smell your pickle.
Oh, mine smell way better than yours. I'm not trading with you. In India, lunch is also most commonly eaten on a rug on the classroom floor. So here we are. Let's dig in. Just gonna grab some of this and get some potato in there.
A strong lack of flexibility right now. I can't even get to the food.
Definitely delicious.
I got a cramp in my oblique. 1 second.
Ooh, this is spicy.
I don't know if I could last more than like half a day in India. This is really tough.
You may need that. Here is a piece of my pickle. How is it?
My mom's are better, but it's pretty good.
There's no way your mom's are better.
This recipe has been passed down for generations.
Wow, those are very tasty. Oh, yours are super spicy.
My hands are even burnt. I'm sweating. I'm gonna call my mom after this one.
I need to go drink some milk, so while I can still talk, I'm gonna give Indian school lunch A tier. Next is Thailand, where we've got sauteed chicken, rice, soup, a fried egg, watermelon, and a yogurt drink. Once again, we've got fun shapes for the kids. This cute little guy is a little rice elephant.
I thought it was a dog.
In Thailand, you hold your spoon in your right hand and use your fork in your left hand to push the food into your spoon.
And then, you gotta try that.
Really?
The flavors off the charts. What a perfectly cooked egg.
Just takes it over the top.
I'm gonna try this soup here. I love the flavor of that.
Almost like a miso soup.
It makes sense that this tastes so fresh because the meals in Thailand and school are meant to taste like a home-cooked meal.
Gotta try the dumpling. So good.
And watermelon is a pretty classic side here. You leave the rind on for an easy handle and delicious. We've got 2 flavors of the classic yogurt drink they love in Thailand. Which one would you like, blueberry or mixed fruit?
I'll try blueberry.
Oh, if I didn't know any better, I might think that this has gone bad.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's definitely a little sharp. Taking into account the visuals and the incredible taste, Thai school lunch is getting A tier.
And next is Vietnam, where a typical school lunch is beef stir fry, sweet and sour fish soup, rice, dragon fruit, and soy milk. What's the first thing you notice when you look at this school lunch?
Fish bones.
In Vietnam, they teach the kids from a young age to look out for fish bones and fish skins. So you'll notice there are fish bones here, there's a fish head right here, and there's even a whole shrimp with the head on. I kind of wish I got this learning lesson when I was little. Ooh, I love the flavor in this soup. You can tell they used real fish bones to make this.
Just has this incredible depth.
I'm gonna go for some of that beef stir fry.
You really can't go wrong with the beef stir fry.
One cool thing here is that most schools in Vietnam don't allow home-packed school lunches, so you have to eat at school, which I can't tell if I like or don't like, because on the one hand, everyone has the same food, so you're all sharing the same experience, but on the other hand, it's kind of fun to trade. Speaking of trades though, the #1 thing kids look out for at school lunch in Vietnam, the dragon fruit. If you can get your hands on red dragon fruit, it is considered a prized trade. So if I, Max, got red dragon fruit at lunch, you would really want to trade with me.
Ngong Qua.
Now the drink. I haven't had much soy milk in my life, but that's probably the best, most flavorful soy milk I've ever had.
I'm not usually a fan, but it tastes really fresh.
I love Vietnamese food, but we agree this wasn't quite exciting enough. We're gonna put Vietnamese school lunch in C tier.
Still a solid score.
Moving on to Indonesia, we have nasi goreng with egg, sliced cucumber, shrimp crackers, sambal, and a box of tea. I'm loving the shape of this tray.
And the colors.
Everything just pops.
I mean, we have a pink shrimp chip.
I just gotta do it. Let's break the egg yolk.
Oh yeah.
Nasi goreng is one of my favorite dishes in the world, so I'm just gonna go right in.
Do you eat it like a nacho?
I don't see why not. That's a great idea.
Right?
I'm gonna load you up.
A little bit of the sauce.
Wait, did you hear that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Listen, when you dip one of these shrimp crackers,
it's like Pop Rocks. That sambal might be my favorite part.
If you haven't heard of sambal, it's a spicy chili paste. Absolutely delicious. Goes so well on everything. This one's maybe a level 1 spice. And I've also got a level 2, a level 3, and a level 4. And we're gonna spin this wheel here to see which one each of us has to taste, because kids growing up in Indonesian schools like to dare each other to try a spicier and spicier sambal. Ready? Oh, you got the least spicy one.
Nick, you're up.
You've got to be kidding me.
Let's go!
Woo! Gotta eat the whole thing, Max.
Your turn. Give yourself a nice big scoop.
Fine.
A little bigger, yep. You gotta swallow that.
I need juice.
Oh my, that is... I was gonna go C, but because that was so enjoyable watching Nick suffer, Indonesia school lunch is getting B tier.
Next up is Bangladesh, where we've got khichuri, a comforting lentil rice, as well as spiced mashed potatoes, a curried egg, raw green chilies, and some lemonade. We'll eat this traditionally using 3 fingers, where we'll pick up nice little bits of this, and then in you go. I know you well enough to know you're gonna love that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That is packed with flavor.
The spiced mashed potatoes here are called aloo borta, and what you do is you also take your fingers and you roll it into like this nice little ball that you can then just simply... Oh, I almost choked on it. Just when I thought mashed potatoes couldn't get better.
Comparing this to the German mashed potatoes, night and day.
Try the egg. That's not what I expected, but it's delicious.
Whatever that is definitely elevates the egg.
Before we give Bangladesh a rating, I think one of us needs to eat a green chili.
How do you play rocks, paper, scissors, shoot in Bangladesh?
You read my mind. Pathor, Kagosh, Kachi, Cholo. Oh, it's a tie! Pathor, Kagosh, Kachi, Oh!
This is how it's done.
Wow. Oh! Is it bad?
It is horrible.
That food was delicious. We're going to go S tier for Bangladesh. Continuing on with China, we're having chicken thighs, boiled veggies, egg drop soup, rice, and soy milk. Lunch breaks in China are 2 hours, making it the longest school lunch anywhere in the world.
No way, 2 hours?
We might be here for a while. What do we think?
看起来特别好吃.
You're going for a chicken thigh? I'm gonna go for a little egg drop soup. Wow, the egg drop soup is packed with flavor.
It's like the best chicken thigh I've ever had in my life.
It's very good.
How does it taste like that?
If I was at school lunch in China and I was allowed to get seconds, you bet I'd be running up and getting as much of this chicken as I possibly could. At first, by looking at this, I didn't think it was gonna be quite as good, Max, and this is so far very, very good.
There's only one thing left we have to try.
I'm not a big soy milk fan, I'll preface it with that.
Milk should come from cows.
That's the worst drink we've had all day.
Ooh.
I wish there was just water.
I would take anything at this point over that. China school lunch, we're going with B tier.
Moving on to the Philippines, we have a pork adobo baan set with sauteed cabbage, white rice, and zesto. Lunch in the Philippines is traditionally brought to school in these lunch boxes called baan.
It's a little bento box or something.
Yeah, I like it a lot. This is like super premium looking.
That is my type of food, I can tell you already.
You use a spoon in the right hand, fork in the left to push in the food. We got a little bit of rice here. Oh, look at that pork belly. It's like fall apart tender pork belly. I can already tell it's gonna be good.
Crunchy and tender, insane.
Wanna try the drinks?
Sure. It's almost like a Filipino Capri Sun. Does it have the same design flaw though that the regular Capri Sun has? It does. My straw went right through the back. Got most of it on the tray, but it is delicious.
I would say my biggest takeaway of this lunch is that it's the most home cooked of anything we've had, and I don't mind that.
To me, it lacks the X factor, but to your point, it does feel very homey and nutritious.
I think it's fair to put Filipino school lunch in C tier. And moving now to Malaysia, we've got nasi lemak bungkus, which is a coconut milk rice served with chicken, spicy chili paste, fried anchovies, roasted peanuts, and a soft-boiled egg, all served with a Milo drink.
This is one of the coolest little packets of food I've ever seen.
Love the presentation.
It's like a little present.
Should we unwrap it?
Let's do it. Being very gentle here. I have no idea what's inside. Oh, wow.
This whole thing is eaten with our hands. No utensils, no paper plate, no nothing.
I'm a little thrown off by the little baby fish on there.
It's easy, Max. Just get in there, grab some rice, put a little bit of chicken.
A little bit of sauce on there.
Phenomenal.
That tastes way better than it looks.
My mouth is just watering from all the different flavors that we're getting to eat right now with this. What I'm actually wondering is whether a chocolate malt beverage is gonna go well with this. Interesting. It tastes more like a chocolate bar in liquid form than it does chocolate milk.
It's like a dark chocolate too. This one's gotta rank high. Malaysia's school lunch is getting a solid B tier.
Next up, we have Lebanon, where we'll have za'atar flatbread, cucumber sticks, labna, fruit, and a pyramid juice box.
I mean, the food looks okay, but I'm dying to see what's going on with these little juice boxes right here.
Yeah, I've never seen a pyramid triangle-shaped drink before. You just gotta bite it off.
Wow.
That is some of the freshest tasting pineapple juice I've ever had.
I feel like the shape makes it taste better.
I want to take a look at this za'atar flatbread. Look at that. It's crispy. You can tell there's going to be a nice crunch.
So much texture, so much flavor.
Listen.
Nothing like I was expecting. To do it traditionally, you tear off a little bit of the bread, get some of that labna, throw a little cucumber on top, get yourself a little roll up.
Ah. For me, the combination of the seasoning as well as that pyramid drink is taking the school lunch to the next level. I also love that dessert is just a simple, small banana. I'm amazed by the freshness, seasoning, and simplicity of this school lunch. I think we put Lebanon in C tier. And with Asia finished, we'll jump now to Oceania, where we'll try the classic Australian school lunch of sausage rolls, shapes chips, kiwi slices, and a breakfast drink. Since Australian students eat outside, we're gonna do the same, but not before putting on are magpie defense helmets.
What is this?
When eating outside, these birds called magpies will actually dive bomb and attack your head. So this is a real thing that some people will do to make sure their head doesn't get attacked while they're eating lunch.
You look ridiculous. How do I look?
Let's go. First priority, look out for the magpies. Second priority, eat lunch. Sausage roll?
Sure. Very buttery and flaky.
Super unhealthy, I think. Although you bet I'm washing that down with some fresh, cold kiwi. And then these Shapes chips. Supposedly it's a very popular snack. I shipped a bunch of different flavors straight from Australia.
I mean, there are shapes, is that?
Whoa. It tastes like if you were to put the ramen seasoning packet on a cracker.
Very umami.
These are the best part of the whole tray. This drink here, very famous breakfast shake in Australia. It's supposed to be sort of a thick, chocolatey drink.
Kinda hate it.
I don't like it.
It's not good.
This has been a very unpleasant lunch. Max, look out! Ah! People are walking by while we're filming this.
It's a tough one to explain.
How are you? Sorry about this. I think it's safe to say Australian lunch is going D tier. And that means our final school lunch is Antarctica, where we'll have hoosh, a hot stew made from ice, dried meat, and biscuits.
I'm very confused. What am I looking at?
Before we eat the actual dish, which looks kind of disgusting, I wanted to first show you all the ingredients in this lunch. These are called sledging biscuits. It's a very hearty biscuit that people use in Antarctica to survive. This is pemmican, a mix of dried meat and fat, and this is ice. And if you put it all together, poof, you get something called hoosh.
That doesn't look like food.
Well, here's the thing. There are technically no official schools in Antarctica. If there were, this might be what their school lunch would look like.
I think I'd drop out if this is what they were serving me.
I think we can all understand now why I saved this one for last.
I just can't see myself putting that in my mouth right now. I don't think my arm's in the right position.
3, 2, 1.
Nick, I'm gonna sue. Ooh!
I'll have it for real.
It's like pre-smoked beef jerky.
I don't think I can eat it.
Look, where's the trash can?
Wash it down with some hot chocolate at least. Better?
That makes up for everything.
What are we giving as our final ranking, Max?
What is below an F?
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I am going to add a brand new category to the tier list and put Antarctica school lunch in Z tier.
It's as bad as it gets.
One last rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses has to eat the hoosh.
Let's do it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No!